died in the or next to Fiona. Oh, dude, his body flew across the room.
He fucking flew,
Dude.
Hello? Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your touch. Pointed.
Oh, you just grabbed it. Who said I like the rough like that?
Oh, hello. I'm a good girl, because I'm good at what I do. Come on, Jay.
I'm trying to wake up, goddammit! I gotta go to school!
Make you work for it.
I wonder if I could beat up. Oh my god! You should have been the one to get hit for that.
Not bad. But if you are bad, you're good at being bad. And we like people who are good at being bad. Who wants to play with me? Anybody? Do I have any people who want to take me up on that offer? Oh, what the fuck? Oh, Bloodella! Oh, for the new people who are in here, welcome to the shit show that is Wicked Love. So, I hope you enjoy yourself. It's gonna be a wild ride.
He died in the or next to Fiona. Oh, dude, his body flew across the room.
He fucking flew,
Dude.
Hello? Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your touch. Pointed.
Oh, you just grabbed it. Who said I like the rough like that?
Oh, hello. I'm a good girl, because I'm good. And hello, and welcome to the Raw and Uncut podcast. I am Wicked Love and Queen of the East. She's so quiet. No, I'm talking about you were super quiet when you said that. Yeah, but that's great. That works. That's great. I love it. Picasso. And tonight we are going to be talking about paranormal, and Queen is going to give us a little background on the gin. And we have lots of guests tonight. Super excited about that. And they are going to be telling us some of their stories and what got them into the belief of the paranormal. We have Kat, and then we have Mr. Burner. We have Ryan Relish, Soul Insidious, Gatsby, the Great Gatsby, is that it? We have Sky, and we also have Spider. So, Queen, would you like to start it off with any questions? So, so we'll start from the top, and we'll start with Kat. There's no sound. There we go. Oh, okay. Can't hear anyone else? What? Hold on a second, guys.
Okay,
Alright.
well, while
Hold
you're
on, let me turn up my
figuring that
desktop
out,
audio. Can you hear them now? Alright, hold on. Let me make sure my properties are set properly.
well, I
If
like how you
that's
said, "Can you
right.
hear them now?" and we were all dead silent, so that we couldn't hear anything.
Well, yeah.
So while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and say to my stream, "Hey guys, what's up? Cat here.
Okay,
I am
everything's
eating
good.
while
There
I'm
we go.
doing the
Okay, he can
podcast
hear y'all
because
now. What it was
I
the
have
desktop
numbs."
audio was turned all the way down for some reason. But we're
Perfect.
good now. All right, so Queen asked them if they've ever had any experiences. We're going to go back over that real quick. If they've ever had any paranormal experiences, and we are starting with Miss Cat here. She is going to tell us about her experiences.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go back in time. Now, yes and yes and yes. Um, I I've talked about this before. I'm an empath. I tend to pick up on emotions and energies around me. My mom was the same way. Her mom was the same way. I was adopted before anybody's like, oh, it's a genetic thing. No, I was adopted, but I'm Peruvian Guatemalan. She was a leprechaun. Like, I was picked up and thrown into a leprechaun family. My grandmother used to have like premonitions of things. I don't really know a whole lot about it, but my mom said that she would see things, that like grandma would say she had seen things. And a lot of it was family members coming back and like telling her things, stuff like that after they had passed. My mom had weird kind of connections with her patients. She was a nurse. She was a military nurse. She was a lieutenant colonel in the Army Nurse Corps. And she was also a civilian nurse. She was a nurse for 50 years. And she would, meet her patients and, build up a rapport with them. And any of them that she got kind of somewhat close to, that she became friends with, that kind of stuff she would talk to every day. If they died when she wasn't there, she would know, like, how they died and their time of death. And it would usually come to her in a dream. So she said that one of her patients, he was a really sweet old man. Like his daughter had just gotten married, and you know, just showed her a bunch of pictures about the wedding, and she was off for the weekend, and she came back on Monday, but over the weekend she had a dream that he had gone into cardiac arrest, and she woke up and looked at the clock, and the time that she remembered on the clock when she woke up happened to be his time of death. So when she went in on Monday, uh, one of, I think it was probably her head nurse was like, "Oh, did you know your patient died?" Um, and then she would be able to say, "Oh, yeah, of cardiac arrest at this time. He was pronounced dead." And they'd be like, "Who told you?" And then she would realize what she had just said, like, because it was just there, and she would just spit it out. And she did that a lot, and so it kind of freaked her out. She ended up pulling away from the church because she felt like she was getting too close to, we're Catholic, and she felt like she was getting too close to that, um, because we do believe in, spirits. We do believe in possession and the Catholic side of the not good side of things, as well as the good side of things, and it scared her. Um, I've seen family members, so my grandfather died before I was born. But he came to me in a dream once, but it wasn't in a dream, it was like, like when you're almost asleep but almost awake, and it's like that middle ground. I
Hmm.
kind of woke up and I was sleeping in my mom's bed, and I saw a man standing at the end of the bed. And I woke up and I screamed for my mom, and I told her exactly what I saw, and she asked me to describe him. And it ended up being my grandfather, and I described him in his Sunday church clothes, and there are no pictures of him in his Sunday church clothes. But like it was down to the specifics of the hat that he would wear whenever he would go to church, and he had like this matching brown jacket that he would wear with it, and there were very few pictures of him in general. Most of them were, you know, like those old school, very fuzzy outline kind of wedding pictures, and very little of anything. Um, so there was no way that I would have seen it in anything before, and he kind of freaked out a little bit because she had never seen him. And to her, she thought that he might have been in like purgatory or something, and that's why he had never come to see her, because she would get to see grandma all the time. So we've had things like that with family members. And then pets. My mom and I were sitting in the living room, and we're just sitting like in the far side of the room on the other side. Steelix, get out of the litter box! Steelix! I swear! Psycho!
So random.
So we're like the other end, at the other end of the room, and there's a door here, and there's a door like at the far side. And we see my ferret run across the door. Funny thing is that ferret had been dead for 2 months. And he had been cremated, and his ashes were on the shelf.
Oh,
And my mom and I like stop because we're watching TV and we see it, and we just kind of like turn and look at each other. And I was like, that was Blitzkrieg. And she goes, yeah, where's? And I go, Valkyrie is the other ferret. And she crawls out from under the couch, like between our feet. So there was no way that she could have run into either room and like through either door and gotten underneath us. And I was like, we just saw a ghost ferret. And she's like, yep. And then she turns the TV back on.
interesting.
She just ignores it. And we're like, yep, we did. Other than that, I generally haven't seen anything terrible or experienced anything like terrible. But then at the same time, my mother explained that it was because we had so many good spirits around that
Right.
it protected our family. And it was very obvious that they were there because they would appear to both of us from time to time, whether it was grandma, grandpa, any of our pets. And we worked with the Humane Society. So I grew up on a farm, so there was no shortage of animals in my life that we had either rescued or taken in because they were sick and dying, and we just, you know, were there for them through their last days or their last few months or something like that. And they definitely came back.
That's cool.
So.
All right. Mr. Burner?
So I'm a huge believer in the paranormal. Sorry. I spend a lot of time meditating, manipulating and controlling my own energy. I guess one of my first stories of my experience with the paranormal would have to be after my cousin had passed away. So before I had even been told by my parents, uh, so he had OD'd, and they were at my grandfather's house across the street. But the grass on the front side of the house formed a skull and crossbones of dead grass, and everything else in the grass was perfectly fine, growing healthy. But that specific area of the grass died in that shape. So I immediately knew something was wrong. And when it came time to move my grandpa out of the house, because he had been seeing and hearing from his. So my cousin and his deceased wife for months When it came time moving them out, I had seen my cousin Justin walking through the halls. I'd hear him having conversations with people that aren't there. Even trying to have conversations with people who are there. Since then, I spend a lot of time kind of grounding myself, and I go out here and there to kind of investigate, and it doesn't faze me as much as it did when I was a kid, but I'm still a huge believer in everything that's out there, even without seeing or hearing everything that's out there.
I like it.
All
That's
right.
actually kind of creepy though, with
Yeah.
the grass. Like, nope,
Mm,
nope.
Yeah,
Mm-mm. Not
definitely.
today.
All right. Ryan.
So we're gonna take a step back into the past here. 2-year-old me. So my sisters were super into doing Ouija boards and stuff like that, just because they thought it was cool whenever they were like 12 years old or whatever. And one night, my mom and my dad humored them, and they did one. My mom and my dad don't believe in that stuff, but they did one, and they were gonna pull a prank on them and stuff and scare them. And all of a sudden, the Ouija board starts spelling something out, and they ask each other, are you moving it? Or don't joke with us, whatever. Asking the kids that and their friends. And they're like, no, we're not moving it. So eventually it starts spelling out, check the baby. Me, the baby, I'm like 2 years old at the time. Not 5 seconds after it says that, I start just screaming. And ever since then, I've had like this really weird connection with like the paranormal and wanting to investigate things and just really push my limits.
Right.
And recently we got dowsing rods. I don't know if you guys know how those work at all.
I do.
But so basically with dowsing rods, you hold them straight, and from what I'm told, I have the most steady grip or whatever. And you ask questions, in for yes, out for no. I have an attachment. We have proclaimed his name as Gary. We asked if he liked the name. He said yes. We also found out that it is a form of a demon attachment, but it's a protector. So it protects me and the people that I care about. So, because whenever we moved into a house, all of us before this one, and we'd throw stuff downstairs or in the basement, and we'd go back to it a couple of days later, it wouldn't be in the same spot.
Mm.
So we eventually had to start asking questions, like, why are you following us and whatnot? And we found out that it's my own attachment, and he's pretty cool. I mean, as cool as a ghost or spirit demon thing can be.
Right.
But
You
Have
have
a
a
question?
question?
you have a question?
You just triggered a memory. I did have, it wasn't a negative experience, but we did have an interaction with a not as friendly spirit at one point. You just
I
reminded
see
me
your
of it.
dog's nose right there.
We found out that its intention wasn't friendly at first, but
He
it
likes
pretty
you.
much grew up with me. So, and here we are now. He's
Like
still
you.
wandering the halls. I'll sit in my office with nobody awake, and I'll hear people running through the hallways or walking through the hallways. I'll feel the floor shift. It's really weird, but you get used to it after a while.
He
Right.
was
It's
like,
I
kind of
don't
I
it's
know
guess
if I
you
could
could
get
be a
used to
happening.
first
that
human.
though.
He
That's
probably looks at me. You could be less fat, like.
wow.
But no, like I said, it's you feel the floorboards creak, or you feel the shift in like wind, or you feel like somebody's walking by, and I don't think anything of it, but somebody who's never experienced that would probably be a little creeped out.
Right.
Yeah, oh yeah, she was.
one of my friends sees like people's auras, and she senses energy. So when she sees people, she sees them like surrounded in a certain color of light, essentially. So she will see their aura in a color form. When she came into my house and walked into my living room the very first time, she had to walk outside because she was like, "Your house feels so fucking crowded." And I was like, "Oh, that's my bad. Like, you're an empath as well. Like, come here." And I walked her into the living room, and I had to introduce her to my family. Like, it was after my mom had died, and my mom, like, my entire family was always cremated. So it was my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, and then all of our pets that went back to my grandma and grandfather's pets. So I mean, there was like 30 urns that were sitting there. And
Wow.
I had to be like, oh, okay, so this is my mom, and this is my grandpa, and this is my grandma, and these are our cats, and these are our dogs, and over here these were my ferrets. And she like took a deep breath, like it was like she had been holding her breath and she could finally breathe again. And she was like, "Oh my god, they feel so much better." Thanks. But she was like, that's why you don't really have a whole lot of negative experiences with anything. It's because, yeah, you're in tune to this stuff, but you have so many things around you that are going to push anything negative away. But when my mom was sick, it was right before she was diagnosed with her cancer. And I don't know if it had anything to do with that. But we had moved, and she had her hip replaced. No, she had her knee replaced. It was supposed to be a partial, but she had a full knee replacement. And we were renting this house, and it was across from the hospital, which was really close to the school that I was going to. And everything was fine. It was like a regular, like 2-story with an attic, big attic space that was mostly finished. And I remember hearing things upstairs and thinking maybe the cat got in there or something. But there was this one time that I was sitting on the bed and my dog, Indiana Bones, was sitting there with me. And we'd be watching TV, and I would just get like the weirdest, like, just that, like, someone is here kind of feeling all the time. And I didn't like, there was an air vent that came down, and they had just put in AC upstairs, so they were new vents, and there was one that was like just to the left of my bed, and I didn't like being on that side of the bed. I didn't like going to that window. Mind you, I'm like 19 at the time, right? 20, somewhere in there. So I'm not like a little kid. I'm a full ass adult who doesn't like going to a certain side of the bed. It felt like something was watching me from that vent. And we'd be laying in the bed watching TV, and I would hear nothing, and Indiana would just wake up and look around and then look up at that vent and just stare at it. And I'd be like, oh god, you're not making me feel good at all. And then he would just get up and leave the room, like with his head down. And I was
Abandon
like,
you.
I was like, cool. Mom, what are you doing? Are you cooking? Come in. And then there was one time that my mom was upstairs. So the bathroom with the actual bathtub was on the second floor. And she was in there taking a bath. And usually, like, she'd be in there taking her bath, and 2 of the dogs would be in there with her, and then I'd have Indiana with me, and the cats, a lot of them would lay in her room on her bed, or in my room on my bed. They just generally stayed with us. And she's in the bathroom. She just got done with her bath, and she's changing and doing her hair and whatever. And I hear the sound of glass shattering. Like, it sounded like if you had a whole shelf of like cups and plates and dishes, and someone just ripped it to the floor and they all just shattered. Like, it wasn't just one glass, it was a lot of glass. Or that somebody had like busted in a bunch of windows at the same time. That's how loud and how much of a crash it was. Like, we could feel it and hear it. And I walk out into the hallway, and I see my mom, And I was like, okay, she didn't drop anything. Like, she's up here. And so we go downstairs, and it sounded like it came from the dining room. So we go into the dining room, and there's nothing. So we're like, okay. So we're looking around all over the floor, trying to make sure that the animals are not going to step on anything. That was the first thing, is a dog or a cat's going to run through it and slice their paw. And so the dogs were all upstairs. We're like, that's fine. And then we see all of the cats between my mom's room and the hallway, which one was in the bathroom with her because she loves water. So all of the animals were upstairs with us. No one was downstairs. No one was in the basement. No one was in the attic. Everyone was on the second floor. And so we're like, okay. So no one knocked anything over. We can't find glass shattered anywhere. And we checked the entire house. We even went outside and checked any of like the windows, anywhere, any piece of glass. We looked and checked to see if anything could have broken. There was nothing anywhere. And my mom was like, "Yep, I'm getting the crucifixes." I was like, "Cool." So she goes down the basement. She gets our big box of crucifixes. She puts them in every fucking room of the house. There's one. And then she's like, when we move out of this house in 2 months, the last thing that we're taking out is the crucifixes. And we are not allowed to be in the attic without the other person there. And I was like, yep, deal. Door shut, sealed, done. And just not it. And that's how we had to do it. And that was not the only, like, we heard other things. Like, it sounded like there were footsteps up there. It sounded like things like the sound of like a bowling ball rolling across the floor, like that thundering sound that's like heavy and loud. And yeah, there and we did not own a bowling ball. So whatever was in there did not like us, or did not like all of the company that we brought with us.
Right.
And so yeah, that was probably the only time that we've had a negative experience with the possible spirit
Yeah.
demon thing.
Well,
Yeah.
Ryan, did you have anything else to add to yours?
No, I don't think so.
No? All right. So next we will hear from Soul Insidious. Have you ever
Oh,
had any experiences?
if I did, I think I didn't pay attention to it because from my kind of
I think
background of
that's
culture,
fair, man.
we tend to, we can't explain it. We don't want to understand it. We know to leave it alone. But I
Right.
mean, I'm always fascinated in stuff that you can't explain and stuff like that. It's interesting, but I know don't dabble with it because if you don't know what's broke, how can you fix it? But it's always something that you should be always aware of, so you don't walk into a situation like, uh, what I do and how do I fix it? And, oh, I can't. And now it's attached to me.
Right.
Nah, I'm good.
He's
But
like,
no,
I
Wise
ain't messing with
words.
nothing. If I
That's
can't
right.
see it, I'm not dealing with it.
It
yeah, like I
happened. Yeah.
like I stay away from cemeteries. The most you can say is like if you like see that corner in your eye, I'm like, no, I'm not looking. No, I don't give me the attention. I don't want to be curious like that. I don't want to know.
Right.
To
But then
be
the
fair,
back of my mind, I'm like,
it's
I want to know. but but
Right.
I always find it a fascinating subject because there are
Mm.
things out here that science can't explain, at least not in technical
Oh,
terms
definitely
to us.
not.
Agreed.
So
Definitely not.
So wise
I'm
words.
just gonna let y'all know the reason why Spider is not here at the moment. His power went out. He said as soon as he can, he'll try to get back. So,
Gotcha.
all right. So we've
I
heard
was
from
gonna say
Soul.
one thing real quick. I was gonna say usually I feel like cemeteries and graveyards aren't an issue unless there are noticeably like dead patches of grass around a certain grave or a certain area.
well, a lot of
Right.
my family's from
Usually
down
that's the
south, so
thing. They say that
Down south.
if there is dead grass around a grave, that means that I believe that means that there's some kind of evil there.
Yeah.
So,
Whether it's whether it's the person or something that is attached to like the death of that person.
The death of that
It-
person, yeah.
Yeah, like the cause of death could be from an evil root, like that kind of thing. That can cause death in the area and like the inability for things to grow or thrive,
See,
Right.
or things die really quickly.
that would
And-
still be
Go and
odd to
tell
me.
me that. Now I'm gonna go to graveyards, just
Yeah,
looking
and
to
then we're
see
gonna
if
be
there's
looking.
any dead grass.
Look, I'll
Really,
be
don't go
Saying-
I'll
there.
be in
Don't
San
go
Diego.
there.
I'll be in San Diego Thursday night.
No,
You know, the
and
only
we're
time I
gonna
go
go.
to the
Not while
cemetery
I'm
is to
there.
attend a funeral. That's it.
Be
I
like,
don't.
we're going on a field trip. I want to go see some dead grass.
We're
Let's
going
go.
I think
on a
it's,
trip to our favorite cemetery.
Now I don't know if this sounds crazy, but like somebody, and it kind of stuck to me. Like somebody's like you go to you usually go to the cemetery to say your goodbyes. You don't never go back to visit because once you start speaking, something might speak back. So I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Ooh,
So
no.
my
I
biggest
have a
thing
story.
is you don't disrespect someone's grave. Do not step on their grave. Do not do anything to disrespect that grave. It's bad juju. Like you just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ryan, what did you have to add?
So, bringing up the cemetery, it reminded me of another story that I have locked away in my mind because it creeps me out. But it's comforting. It's comforting, but it's kind of creepy. My grandfather passed away when I was really young. You know, when kids are supposed to believe in like having oh goodness, what are they called? I can't think of the name. Like the invisible friends, imaginary friends. That's the one.
Yeah. I had one.
I like it.
My invisible friend, yeah. But they were finishing up the funeral for my grandfather, and I at the time didn't know what my grandparents' last names were, or I didn't care to understand because I'm like 5. And
Of course.
all of a sudden, after the funeral was done, my parents told me that I made an imaginary friend, and his name was RR. Well, the creepy part about that is my grandfather's name was Ray Ramsey.
Interesting.
And I swore on like to whatever god you want to believe in that he was real. I saw him. He was my friend. I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
And I don't know, that just it's like I said, it's creepy, but it's comforting at the same time.
See, the thing is, you hear the stories about kids and their imaginary friends, and then I don't know if y'all watched the paranormal shows and stuff like that, but I saw one where this kid had an imaginary friend, and it was a man or something. And after a while, bad things started happening in their house, and turns out this kid ended up becoming scared of his imaginary friend because that's who was causing the trouble. He was trying to hurt them. So it turned out to be an evil spirit instead of just an imaginary friend. So yeah, you got to be careful with stuff like that. You got to be careful with what you're inviting into your house. They claim that whenever you put those welcome mats in front of your door and all that it's a bad thing to put the welcome mats in front of your door, because when you say welcome, you're welcoming in spirits, you're welcoming in demons. Anything that says welcome,
Just
you
like the
are
whole vampires,
essentially
you have to invite them into your house.
right. You are
But the welcome
essentially
sign just invites
giving
everyone in.
power to those spirits to come into your home.
That's why I always say to people, words have meaning and words have power.
That's why
Think
mine
about
says,
your words.
"Go
Learn
away."
the language that you're
Yours
speaking
says go away.
really well.
Go away.
And
No
know that your
soliciting.
words
I mean
have
it
meaning.
too, and I mean it too. That's what I'm saying. My words, I mean it. No,
Stay the
go
fuck
away.
away from me.
Go away. We don't want none. We don't need it. No, thank
No
you.
soliciting your ghostly stuff. All
What's
right.
up, best beer man? Welcome, welcome.
So next we will hear from the Great Gatsby.
So, I come from a family where they think everything that you hear or see or that could possibly be paranormal is the devil. And so I was always just kind of told to like never interact with it. I had an experience when I was a kid, though, that just kind of made me turn away from that, and so I never really followed their beliefs, and I separated from that pretty early. And most recently, I've had kind of a neat, semi-scary, but mostly neat experience. We live pretty close to an asylum that is said to be haunted.
Have you guys watched Ghost Adventures, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Have you ever seen the Edinburgh Manor episode?
Yeah.
That's like 15 minutes from my house.
Oh wow.
Can I ask what religion you were raised in?
Catholic. But my mom is also Protestant, so they're kind of interfering. So we went down because, as curious as I was, I had never had an experience, just because nobody was open to it, and it just kind of felt like there was no room for experiences to happen. So I'm like, I want to know if it's real. Let's drive down here. It's like 2 a.m. Me and Ryan are walking around the outside of the perimeter. The first thing that kind of tipped me off was that a cat came out of the woods and kind of adopted us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was, what's up? Yeah.
He was in the woods?
So, no, but he kind of stayed by my side because he knew I was a little bit scared. And he just kind of showed us around, and we were walking around the building, and I look up, and there's a small window in like a divot of the building, and it's the only one that's lit up.
So keep in mind, too, with this story, that the Edinburgh Manor used to be like a poor home, that they would bring people in to live there as long as they worked on the farms that were around the area.
And so this window was lit up, and I asked Rye if he can see any light in that window, and he said absolutely not. I'm like, okay, cool. And then there's this little girl, and I remember very distinctly her braids. And she's just sitting there fiddling with a toy. And it felt very sweet and kind. I know, right? That's kind of what I said too, but no. So she's sitting there. It didn't feel menacing or like bad or anything. So I was just having a nice moment with her, and then I see two like larger figures and like almost manly in shape, and they walk up behind her. And I don't know what freaked me out so badly, but I started to cry, and it was ugly, but I started to cry, and I walked around the building because I'm like, I can't see this. I don't know what's happening. It doesn't look good. But for those few moments, it was really beautiful. Just I could feel her and understand what she was feeling while she was there. And
Dude, dead little kids are the worst. Like,
they can be, but she was the sweet one. And these two figures that came up behind her scared the absolute shit out of me. But after I got over it,
attached to her while she was alive, and that's why dead little kids are the worst. Is because
Yeah.
the whole thing about children and babies and animals that like notice these things, it's because
They're so
of their
open to
innocence,
it.
and they're open to it because they're not told to shut that stuff out. They're not told that you shouldn't believe in fairies, you
Society
shouldn't
hasn't
believe in
gotten
this.
to them yet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so their minds are still open to it, which means anything, whether it's good or bad, can latch onto them. So
Mhm.
dead little kids, either they're demons pretending to
Right.
be little kids, or they were killed by a demon, which is still attached to them. Like,
True.
nope. Dead little kids and dolls,
We're good.
fuck that, I'm out.
I don't like dolls. Nope.
My
Dolls
son
The dolls look
is
creepy.
scared of dolls, and so am I, to a certain
Y'all don't
extent.
want to hear my story
I
then.
My
Um,
mom had a ventriloquist dummy, like in high
look,
school.
whenever
Always
I was
allowed
a
in the
kid,
house.
I don't like
Oh
clowns either.
no.
When I was a kid,
No,
my
I
mom tried to decorate my whole room in clowns, like
I
little clown
refuse to do
figurines
that.
and everything. And she also had this really creepy baby doll with a porcelain face. And I was probably about 7 or 8, and I had to tell her, please take all of this stuff out of my room because I don't like it. It Something's not right about these dolls. Just get them out of my room. And
My
as
grandmother had a whole
you walk
room
through
full
the
of
room,
porcelain
it's like
dolls.
her eyes followed you. Her eyes would follow you, and I don't like that. Like, don't look at me. Don't look at me like that.
I
We
think
gon' you gonna catch these hands, okay?
yeah. I think
She's
dolls are
boxing,
really
yes.
easy to become conduits. Like, I mean, we've seen it so many times, and I know a lot of it's like in movies, but like we've seen The Conjuring. I'm sure we've
Hmm.
almost all of us have seen The Conjuring. That's
Yeah.
So
not
The
just based on a
Conjuring
true
is
story.
about
That
Annabelle,
doll,
right?
and yeah. So well, Annabelle and The Conjuring, they all have ties to the real Annabelle doll, which was not that porcelain faced
No, it was
doll.
Raggedy
It
No.
was
Ann.
a
It was
Raggedy
a
Ann.
Raggedy Ann
And
doll,
all. Mm-hmm.
which is even fucking creepier
Mm-hmm.
Got a
because
little upgrade.
the less real it looks, the more it kind of feels childish and safe. And for that to be so just
Something that's so haunted.
yeah, attached to demonic forces is like fuck childhood,
Crap.
man. It's all bad.
Did you
Right?
guys ever hear about the like biker guy that went into the museum
And
and he
died?
they told him not to touch the glass, don't touch the doll,
Mm-hmm.
and that stupid
I mean,
SOB touched the glass.
warning signs are there for a reason. Like, just
Yeah.
listen to them, you know?
Mhm. They had a priest come into their house to bless that room every freaking month
Mm-hmm.
just to try to
Yeah.
keep everything inside.
Now Zach Bagans is doing that because he owns it.
I don't know if I could walk into the room. Like I would
Oh,
want
I
to. I
wouldn't.
would want to
I
see it,
mean,
but I
I'd
don't
be
know if like
absolutely stoked to go to that museum. Like, I would love to. But
I don't
I
want
know
to poke
not
in there.
but I know not to
Right,
touch
exactly.
anything there. Like, I know the stories. I know
That entire place is
all of that. Like,
filled
you don't.
with
yeah.
haunted,
Oh yeah,
demonic shit.
they were big
No,
on
thank
that.
you.
Like, they would investigate these things, and like I did a
I
podcast
wanted to
before
do
on my
that.
Wicked Chronicles where I kind of dived into
The Catholic
were
stuff.
they real or not, like talking about the people who investigated these hauntings. Like, there was some speculation that they were making some of it up, like with the haunting in Connecticut, I think it was. Um, they investigated that one, I believe, and there was
They
not.
investigated the Amityville horror at one point
I was
too.
Yeah,
about
they
to say
did.
they
There
did
was
that
not a
that
lot
house.
of real facts behind that. Um,
Mhm.
some of it was possibly made up by these people. Um, and so yeah, there was some big speculations behind their investigations on whether they were really psychic, whether the wife was really psychic or not.
A lot of these Hollywoodized movies, like obviously The Conjuring, Haunting in Connecticut, stuff like that. The Ed and Lorraine Warren had a hand in almost all of them. They're just
They
not
did,
documented in the movies.
right?
Yeah.
The Amityville Horror, the Haunting in Connecticut, um, just the Annabelle stuff, just all of it. There's a lot of things there that possibly could have been lies, but then there's a lot of things there that could have been true, you know?
Oh yeah.
And honestly, the only people who really know are the people that have lived in the houses.
That
Ed and
lived in the
Lorraine Warren,
house. Hmm.
and then the the Catholic Church. That like the people that worked on those cases, specifically the
Right.
priests. Because
You
I'm
know, they
pretty
keep
sure they
some very
used
detailed
like one or two.
documents.
But and all of that stuff is locked up somewhere.
Oh
100%.
Right.
yeah.
Didn't Ed and Lorraine also do like the La Llorona stuff too? Didn't they have a hand in that?
Did they?
I
I
don't
don't know.
think
I
they
don't.
did have anything to do with La Llorona. Not
I
really.
think they talked with people about. I don't think they like investigated. I think they gave like their
Yeah,
opinion and
they
stuff.
might have talked to some people. I never really dived into any more on Ed and Lorraine Warren because I wanted to. Like, that's probably something I will do more research into at some point. But
I'm not
no,
gonna
La
lie.
Llorona was
They
not
have
one of
their
them
own
I've really
skeletons.
dived into at the moment yet.
Ed and Lorraine Warren had their own skeletons. Like they had their own shit that was kind of really messed up in there. But some of the stuff they did was act like with their investigations and all of their paranormal stuff like was actually it's really it's deep.
Yeah.
It runs deep. And
Mhm.
I am not saying I'm not trying to like advocate for them because their personal lives and the other things that they did that they weren't necessarily accused of or charged with anything, but they did some unsavory things
Right.
outside of their investigations. The investigation side, like, I am low key obsessed with that stuff. Like, and
Girl.
I don't know if anybody out there wants to join me into, you know, becoming like a real life ghost hunter.
Oh,
If you do,
We've
I've
been
talked about
talking
it.
about this.
I've talked
We have
about it.
been
I want to
talking
do
this.
some IRL on stuff
like
like
this is
at
one of the reasons
actual
that
haunted
I
places.
wanted to
I
learn
live in
Latin.
Louisiana,
That's like
dude.
my
Like,
least thing.
you know, there's so many places around here.
I told her
Like,
if
just
I
New
get
Orleans by
scared,
itself is
Oh my
I'm
god, I
leaving her
love New
ass
full
Orleans.
there.
of stuff, and I'm like only
Oh my
45
god.
minutes away from New Orleans.
I'm
So,
gonna come visit because I want to go back to New Orleans. I got to go there for a Halloween weekend.
oh, I'm gonna get
A
Queen
couple
here
years ago. It
too,
was just
because Queen's never
I've
gotten
never
to
been.
do
okay.
any of that
So
stuff.
we're gonna take a minute away from the podcast. This group right here, we're all gonna meet down in Louisiana, and then we're gonna go
My
on a
flight.
few little ghost hunts.
Yes,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
start checking on
And
flights.
okay.
Like
We're
I
gonna
You
get
said,
said go
do
into the
this.
heart of scary and go see stuff. You know.
I mean, if y'all run into a little extra money, right? They do overnights at that Edinburgh Manor, so just saying.
Let's go.
You know how you need somebody at the headquarters? That would be me.
All right, so the
Okay,
Well,
only
so
here's
one
you can just watch the cams, bro.
He's resident
Mhm.
IT.
so
no,
the
we
only
have to
one
be.
we have
We
not
don't
heard
want to be
from
left
yet
alone in
is
a
Miss
van, do you?
Sky here. Sky,
yes.
have you had any experiences?
I have had many. I am
Many.
also an empath, so, you know, energy fields,
Three
and
empaths here. Let's go.
Ryan is starting to open up to become more of an empath. It's just taking him a little bit.
I think it takes longer for guys.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, guys, but
I agree.
So since we've talked about the Edinburgh Manor, we didn't go inside at all, or at least I haven't gone inside. We went across the street from there. There's like a little patch cemetery situation going on. And we were like looking through all the graves, checking everything out. There was a spirit, a younger spirit that grabbed my hand and like led me over to a certain area, like in the corner of the cemetery, and I just kind of like followed it because it's, you know, curiosity.
Right.
That
would be me. I'd be like, "Oh, you want to hold my hand?" Especially if it's not, especially if it's not giving off like, because I can feel energy and stuff. You know, like I know whether someone's good, someone's bad. Like, you know. So if it doesn't give off negative energy, then I'm like, okay, let's do this. You know.
I would
But
slap it
what
with
if it
sage
does?
in a heartbeat.
Oh, if it gives off
Gone.
negative energy, if it gives off negative energy, I'm getting the fuck out of there. Don't touch me.
I'm afraid to kick a ghost
This is
child.
my no square. Please don't touch me there.
Go ahead, Sky.
Continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, it wasn't negative or anything. And then, like, the stone that it took me to, and this seems to be like an untouched, like, not very well kept cemetery
Busted
patch.
your ass, didn't you? Sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
There was like a single flower on the headstone. And yeah, so we just kind of sat there. Just kind of like let the presence be there and kind of like speak its truth or whatever. Yeah.
Was that
Maybe it's
Peter,
just
the little boy with the car?
Probably.
Because
was
we
gonna
ended
say
up
maybe
buying
it
him a
was
new
just
car.
maybe it was just lonely and it wanted somebody to visit its grave, you know? Like maybe nobody goes and would go and visit it or whatever. If it was unkept, then that means nobody really cared for that grave. And if it was a
And little
child,
kids
you
like to
know,
play. So
right? And if it was a
people
child
love where
that
they live.
just wanted to feel some kind of love in that moment, maybe that child didn't get love in their life. So
It was a place for the forgotten, right? For those that were homeless, didn't have families, who had disabilities that were just kind of dropped off and never seen again.
I mean, on top of that too,
Yeah.
that cemetery,
I'm gonna disappear too one day.
that cemetery it's really small, and they ran out of room really fast. So what they started doing is they would just start dumping the bodies underneath the
fields.
ground in the cornfields across the street. So there are just unmarked people underneath the cornfields across the
That is
street.
poltergeist waiting to happen.
But
That is
doesn't that
so
cause a lot of
sad.
unrest?
Yeah, that's why it's
Yeah,
so haunted. I mean, I went over there by myself once and just sat
turn it
in
off.
the gravel lot.
All right.
And I look across the street and I can just see shadow people standing in the open field. Like, that's before I even knew that the bodies were dumped there. And then I went on a tour, which they tell you about the history and stuff, and they said that, and I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. I'm out.
Dude, those bodies really need to be relocated and given a proper burial because that's not good.
Totally agree. But after all the years of farming the land, I mean, the bodies are so dismembered and
still
scattered.
Any existing bones just
Need to be dealt with.
Mhm.
I agree.
Salted.
Yeah,
Buried
so
somewhere
big.
else.
Salted and burned. Let's do it. Like Sam and Dean
Bless.
Winchester. We're gonna be the
Yeah.
Winchesters. We're gonna salt and burn their asses.
We'll go get one of the energy candles, like, light it out in the field.
Oh,
Early
you're
Curiosity
giving
Killed the
people
Cat
trouble?
Spooky Edition.
Okay, let's take care of this right here.
Hell
One
yeah.
candle will work, right?
No.
Let's just bring the whole party pack.
Depends how dead that cornfield is, but yeah.
I mean, they replant
I'll
over
have
top
the
of it every year.
I'll have the little things to ask it questions. Let's go.
Oh, the dowsing rods?
Yeah, the dowsing rods.
Yeah. But like I said, no, they plant over that every year. So the cornfield's not dead. It's maybe underneath is, but
I don't
Queen
know how
will
they
have
get
the
away with that.
crucifix. She'll be like, "Be gone, evil."
Nope. I'm the sage person. Like I said, I'll
Oh,
slap some bitches
that's
with
right.
some
No,
sage.
she likes to stay in the van watching the cameras. So we'll keep her in
Damn
the van
right.
watching the cameras, and
Listen,
we'll
I
all
got
go
your
out
back.
there with
I got your
EMF,
back.
dowsing rods, freaking
I got your back
crucifix.
from the van. See, I'll make
It's
sure
gonna
you
be
don't
it's
die
gonna be
from the
real
van.
life
But if you
fast and
do,
rope. Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna
from
be like
afar.
I'm gonna be like, manifest yourself, you bitch.
that's what she would do. She would
Yes,
get
and I
us
will have
killed.
holy water, and we'll have holy water everywhere.
Hey, look, I only have to be faster than the person behind me.
This is true.
so
If
the
you
Raw
take your
Nation,
shoes off, you should probably start running because I'm about to sprint.
the Raw Nation paranormal team turns into just one person in there while everybody else is out in the van.
Yeah.
We all got
Right,
scared
it's
for a
all
second.
you.
90% of the time,
Yeah.
you go after the lone people in the van first, right?
Yeah, you're not
Okay.
always gonna be safe in that van, Queen.
Yes, I am. Watch.
I'll
She's
just be in there talking on the walkie.
her sanity, and she's gonna look at mine, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my god."
Y'all gonna
Wicked
think
has
I'm
no
in the
skin."
van, and what had happened was I took the van and left.
Yeah,
If
she
it was
drove
too
off.
soon,
There
that's
you
what I would
go.
do. Nope, I'd be gone.
Goes in as a group to investigate, hears a noise, turns around. Where'd everybody go?
Right?
Yeah, that would be me. I'd get distracted by something shiny. The ghost would know too. They'd be like, "Oh, shiny,
She's like a true
shiny."
cat. Ooh, shiny!
And then I'd
What's
turn around
that?
and be like, "And I'm alone.
What's that?
This is how I die. Thanks, guys."
She's gonna be like, "Ooh, can I touch it? Can I touch it?" Ooh.
I caught the shiny. I caught the shiny. And now I'm in this spirit world and trapped here forever.
Ghost looking at you like, what did we learn?
Curiosity killed the cat.
Exactly.
That's right.
What can you take away from this experience today? Do not
Curiosity
fuck
killed
with
the
the
cat.
ghosts.
The ghosts look at you and be like, "Oh, kitty."
And be like, great, now I'm a pet.
Pretty little cat, come here. Let me strangle you.
That's
What about the woman who chose yesterday to drown kittens with her bare hands?
did. Oh, that's right.
Look,
Shame.
look. The other two choices were a no-go for me, okay? So it looks like I was gonna be drowning kittens.
I literally cried. She said that, like, I was
Just to be
actually
clear,
crying.
she didn't like really. It was like
It
Look,
was a game.
let me
It was a game
just
show.
be
It
clear.
was Would You
We
Rather.
were playing
Yeah.
a game, and we had 3 different choices.
Just want to make that
Not
clear.
that I would actually do that for real, guys. Okay? Like,
I still cried.
She did.
I can't even put worms on hooks, guys. Like,
What?
oh, I can.
I
can.
catch spiders and I put them outside.
I can't.
hate
I'm an
spiders.
arachnophobe. She has to catch them
I
and
have
take them outside.
arachnophobia so
I
bad.
love them.
Like,
Aren't you glad you don't live in Australia?
I can't kill things.
Bro, I'm 6 foot, about 400 pounds, and I am scared shitless of a spider.
telling you.
Doesn't matter.
Mm.
I don't give a shit.
Here's my
I don't care how.
jumped up on the table.
Yep.
Look,
I don't
I'm
care
just
how
saying,
big or small it is. Mm-mm.
anything with
We
more
ain't
than
doing
4
that today.
legs,
I mean, I'm
anything
old
with
enough to
more than
remember
4
they.
legs,
So
not
small and
doing
nothing to worry
it.
about.
No. Spiders
But I
have too
mean,
many legs, and they have fangs, and they go. I had one look at, like, I don't know if it was actually looking at me one day, but I walked past it and it reared up and it goes. I'm like,
How
no!
big was the spider that it had?
It was a wolf
audibly
spider.
whispered to?
It was a wolf
Big
spider.
man, that's like quarter size, yeah.
Man, I play grounded, and I can't even. I don't turn the arachnophobia shit on, but I
Now,
can't
look,
do the
I like
spiders.
that
I
movie.
can't.
Arachnophobia is one of my favorite movies, but when it comes to
that
a real
spider?
life
Mm-mm, no.
no. My stepsister used to have a tarantula. I was like, I won't be coming to your house. You can keep that bitch right there.
They say that if you hold tarantulas, it's a way to get over arachnophobia. And knowing me, I would hold it, and it would get thrown into the wall. So
But
They're so
no,
sweet.
it would touch me, and I'd probably puke and then throw it. Like, just
well, there's
one makes me sick to my stomach.
Pukes on the spider. It's like, no, throw me. I don't care
But
anymore.
there was a time at zoos where they actually let you like pet the tarantulas. No, don't put that in my hand. No.
There are certain tarantulas that will crawl onto your chest and curl up and cuddle with you.
I'm good.
That's what I said. I'm like, I'm good.
okay.
You curl up somewhere else.
Look,
Not on me.
I'm getting physically sick to my stomach thinking about it.
There are pythons that do that too, but they're just sizing you up for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've never understand people with the snakes around their neck. I'm like, when it
I
constricts,
love
that's
snakes.
it.
Like,
You're the first.
like recently we had a festival in one of the towns near me, and I went to the festival, and this guy was walking around with a snake wrapped around his arm, and its head was just resting in his hand, and I was like, oh my god, it's a snake. He's like, do you want to hold it? I was like, yes.
Nate
And
said,
everybody else around me is like, ew.
"What's your kink, Nate? Who's kink shaming you? Between spiders
Nobody's
and
kink shaming you,
python.
sir, but I'm interested. What is your kink?
Yes.
Kink shaming is my kink, Nate.
God damn it, right.
Getting choked out by a snake. His kink is getting choked out by a snake.
I'll choke you out, Nate.
Oh, you boo boo.
Look, you're so weird. Anyways.
We're getting spicy in here.
We are.
Super. Hey, cool.
All right. So,
Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared. All right. So now that we've heard everybody's stories, and Queen and I have already told our stories before. We've both had some experiences But Queen is going to be talking about gins in her culture tonight
Ooh.
as well.
Yeah.
And if y'all have anything y'all would like to add in, please don't be afraid
Please
to
do.
I will
butt
say
in.
I will
Mm-hmm.
say that
We
my
won't
mom
bite.
never allowed us to have Ouija boards in the house. Like she was
Ouija
completely
boards
against
are a
it.
no-no.
Type
Um,
of
My
cool.
parents didn't either, but my sisters would make one out of cardboard.
yeah,
Oh,
I
cool.
was not about to have that in my house just because, like, even as a kid, I was like, mm-mm. And I don't
I'm
know if that was like the growing up Catholic and going to a private Catholic school and like
yeah.
you just
I played with a Ouija
you
board
feel things
once
differently. I don't know what it
when
is.
I was like 13, but nothing happened. So, but after that, I developed like kind of a fear of them, and I don't mess with them. Like, I was gonna get my sister to paint a mural on my wall where my setup was, where I was living before, and she's like, "We could do like a huge Ouija board on your wall." I was like, "No, you are not." She's like, "What? It's not a real one?" I said, "It might not be a real Ouija board." I said, "But the idea is still there. You're making
Intention.
something
Now, see, she's like
that's a Ouija
that, but
board."
in Phasmophobia, she will snatch that bitch so fast and get you to fucking working.
Yeah, it's
Talking
called
shit to
selling
it.
somebody. Just ask Soul. He knows about selling somebody. His series is called the Selling Series. Okay? I didn't get the nickname Cellerina for nothing, okay?
This is why I stay in the truck.
Yeah, because I walk right up in the house and I'm like, manifest yourself, bitch.
She
We
does.
gonna find out today what kind of ghost you really are.
If she finds a voodoo doll, she's gonna hit every
Oh,
pin right
poke,
there
poke,
on the
poke.
spot.
Or if I find the tarot cards, I'm pulling them. What's that? Oh,
Speaking
the High
of
Priestess. Oh,
She keeps going.
Death.
And
speaking
Oh
of
shit.
voodoo,
yep,
oh, somebody's dying. Oh, y'all better hide.
Ain't gonna be me.
Going
Not
for broke.
today. Not today.
and that's
speaking
why
of
again.
voodoo, I've kind of noticed, and I mean, they will tell you this as well. What is the obsession with white people and ghost stuff? Like, I'm lightly brown. I am Latina. I will tell you that all of the Latinos, black people, like people of color, generally are like, bitch, keep that shit away from me. Or
Say
It's
say it again. The
they're
coach was
like
like, nope.
100% in it. So, like, when it comes to black people, you
Oh,
either
Nick,
have
Well,
Nick got
to
a
be
people
separate
fair,
that
I
are
mean,
into voodoo and hoodoo, like the people that actually did it, or like everyone else that is like keeping it gone. Like, nope, no, we're not. That's no. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
it's because we
But
stupid.
well, I like to think of it as we're super sweet and we're nurturing and we just want to take care of stuff. So we're gonna go out.
That's
We're gonna
been
find
long and
somebody
gone.
to take care
I think a lot of it is rooted in
of.
Christianity, though, right? Like, we think we're untouchable because we believe in God and He's going to save us all the time, and so we
Yeah,
just don't think that anything bad could happen.
Nah, bitch,
well,
we
look,
stupid.
look,
Latinos,
I'm just gonna
Latinos are
say I've been
primarily
super
Catholic
upset.
too.
True.
And
True.
they tend to be like, nope, let's candles to pray to Mary. But then there are the few that are like, they'll have, you know,
Yeah,
the not good.
white people be dumb.
Right, hang on. Third time's a charm. Let's all say it together. We stupid.
Stupid.
That's fair.
It's
But
just what it
no,
is.
I've just been super obsessed with horror and anything paranormal since I was 5 years old. My very first scary movie was The Leprechaun, and I sat there and watched it with my dad and laughed at it the whole time. Like, that's just me. Most scary movies, I will sit there and I will just laugh at them because they're super ridiculous. Even the ones based on true stories, I find to be absolutely ridiculous because they Hollywoodize things too much. So they add in their own stuff to make it better in their eyes, but to be
To make it sell,
fair,
to
well,
make it more
yeah,
exciting.
but to be fair, I mean, if you think about these stories and the research I've done on a lot of these, by themselves,
They're
these
terrifying.
hauntings were super terrifying anyways. but there's so much that they take out
If
and
they
so
portray
much
it the
that
right
they
way, yeah.
add. Like, you're taking away from what truly made it scary. The stuff that actually happened that was actually scary.
See, I didn't think my first scary movie was very funny, okay? Because it was The Exorcist. And that shit,
Yep.
to this day,
I remember
fucks
The
with
Exorcist.
me. I do
That-
not like that
She's like,
movie.
I
That
don't
movie stands up today with all of this other shit going on.
Mm-hmm. It's
The one movie that
terrifying.
scared me shitless was the 1970s version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh my
'Cause
god,
they-
I love
that
the
didn't do
Texas
anything.
Chainsaw
That
Massacre movie.
wasn't scary. Those weren't scary.
You want to
There
know what
was-
is scary? The fact that they didn't catch that family ever.
Yeah. The one movie that I watched, and I don't know if I remember the title of it correctly, but I believe it was called "Don't Go in the House" or something like that. And it was about this guy who was a firefighter, and he lived with his mom, and he had this obsession with he'd bring women home, he'd kill them, and then he'd dress them up, do their makeup, and put them in rocking chairs or just some kind of chair in this room. And his mom ended up dying, and he did the same thing to her, but he was so messed up in the head that he'd go in this room and he'd be talking to these dead women that he killed and everything. And like at this one part of the movie, and like I had to turn the movie off. I never even finished watching it, but he was talking to him, and like in his mind they said some stupid shit, and so he just starts going around in a circle and slapping all of them and doing this weird stuff, and that scares me because it's like, to me, it's something that could actually happen. You got this crazy dude who's got it in his mind that he can do whatever he wants, and he just kidnaps women and kills them and does whatever he wants to them and turns them
Is
into
this an
his own
older movie?
personal dolls.
Is this an older movie?
It is. It is an older movie,
Okay, I think I found it.
but it's just super creepy. Like, to me, movies where the idea is it's things that could actually happen, that's what freaks me out more than anything. These horror movies with like Freddy Krueger, um, and Chucky, like, is Chucky actually gonna happen? No.
I don't know with the doll, the Raggedy Ann doll. You don't know.
That's
So the
Bro,
funny
just
thing about
kick
the
the
movie
ball.
that you
that's
just
neither here nor there, okay?
Don't Go in the House.
Don't go in the house.
Somebody wrote a review and said it might have historical inspiration.
Okay.
And they said that it seems to be another lurid cinematic adaptation of a real life serial killer's exploits.
There you go.
So does anybody, and I just kind of read it kind of somewhat quickly, has anybody seen American Horror Story Hotel?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Oh yes.
So it's a hotel, it's got a bunch of mazes.
Lady
rituals,
Gaga
Lady
was in it.
a lot
Gaga's
of
in
people-
it.
That's based on a real place.
Yeah.
And all of the people in there are based on characters that have existed. This actually, I think this ties to that.
So
what was explained here was the first time I saw this film, I said to myself, now where have I heard about someone fetching young ladies to death in an asbestos insulated room before? And the answer is Herman Mudgett, aka H.H. Holmes, Chicago's twisted torture doctor who murdered anywhere between 20 and 200 people in a self-designed townhouse on 63rd Street during the 1890s.
Oh yes.
Mudgett built
That
a
was
maze of
Castle.
false corridors,
motherfucker.
secret passageways, trapdoors, soundproof and airproof killing rooms, and dug vats for quicklime acid baths, and a crematorium incinerator in the basement of his 3-story castle of horrors, complete with fake battlements and windows covered with sheets of steel.
Okay, he took do it yourself to a whole different level.
So yeah, Lady Gaga's character in that one is based off of Elizabeth Bathory, who was actually she was the first female serial killer. She would kill her victims. She would drink their blood. She would also bathe in their blood. They nicknamed her the Countess. And then Evan Peters' character was based off of H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
And then the hotel itself was inspired by his murder castle as well as the Cecil Hotel.
I was about to say, I was like, I thought it was also based off that hotel because
It's based off of
that
two different
hotel
hotels.
has
They combined the two
some
ideas.
crazy history to it.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
insane.
yeah. Very
Like, I
cool.
want to visit that place. I really do.
The
The
Cecil
Cecil
That's
Hotel?
spectacular.
Yes.
Yeah. I
But
wanna
I
go
don't
there.
think it's open to the public right now. If I remember correctly, it is
It's
not open
not.
to the public right now,
Yeah,
which
it's only there.
sucks.
Like the few people that remain living there that have been living there for a long, long period of time. Those are the
Mhm.
only people that are allowed in and out of it.
I want to visit the hotel from The Shining.
The Stanley.
Oh
Is
my
it the
god,
Stanley?
the
Yeah.
Stanley.
hotel.
I got to
Yes.
see
Alright,
it
so we're
from
gonna
a
make a
distance.
list, right?
Yes. Didn't Jim
Dude.
Carrey
Write
say
it
that
down.
he slept there and then, or he was trying to? He left in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he ended up leaving.
And he never would talk about it,
Yep.
apparently.
He was preparing for a role for that, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
When he was staying there,
Yeah.
he was preparing for a new movie. I think it was a horror movie, even. I don't even think he did. Was
Yeah,
it?
we did. Did we go inside? We did go inside of it. Yeah, we did. We did go
It
in
was the
there.
cable guy.
The cable guy?
The cable guy?
Yeah, that was a.
Yeah, he was super creepy in that
Yeah.
movie. So
Yeah, we
Jim
had been in
Carrey's one of
there.
my
It
favorites.
was really pretty. But we didn't go to like the rooms or anything. They had like a bar area and
I
stuff,
just don't
and that's
know.
where we went.
Ugh,
But
there
you
was
know, it's
so
that
much
specific
activity in
room
that
in
hotel.
there. So that it again, it's more of the room. There's one specific room. That's the one that Jim Carrey stayed in that night. And it has a lot of, again, stories behind it as to why it's so haunted and stuff. And he's one of the people that, like I said, he won't speak about it or anything, but he did not stay the
Right.
entire night. He ended up leaving. So I wonder what happened.
I think on the stairs going up too, there's like mirrors on both sides, so it creates it creates a vortex,
Mm-hmm.
which
Right.
is not bueno.
No, you would think
Yeah,
they'd
definitely no
remove that.
bueno.
That's also a superstition to never have mirrors facing each other in your house.
Or
Really?
facing your bed.
Look,
Yep.
there's so many superstitions about mirrors. The Native Americans have the belief that I believe it is that if you take a picture of them, you're taking their soul. Just all kinds of stuff. But the mirrors are, I've done some research on that too. The mirrors are considered to be portals, vortexes, stuff like that. Yes. So it brings in evil spirits. It can be a gateway to another world. Just all kinds of stuff. Super interesting.
It can
Look,
also
I
just
do a
be
lot
a
of
place to
research, y'all. I
trap
have a
you.
lot of useless information in my head. So it all
But like
comes out.
spirits that can visit you through them can also like trap you. Like they can trade like essentially like
Mhm.
trade places with you
Yes, yes, they can.
in mirrors.
Thank you.
Places of high energy, like if you go to a place, a specific place, and like your body feels like it's vibrating, supposedly that's a portal. You're near a portal or you're close to a vortex or something like that. Um, just all kinds of stuff.
And it can mess with EMF readings as well.
Yes, it can.
I want an EMF reader.
Me too.
Be walking around with that shit all day long.
Just
God
if you don't
forbid it goes.
have
It
one, just pull a
If it
compass.
goes off, she's gonna be like, "Are you there?
It
Hello.
vibrates when there's
What's your
something.
name? How many people have you killed? How old are you?
Y'all bring the EMF. We got the spirit box. We got it covered. Ask the questions.
Let's
If you don't have an
go."
EMF, just bring a compass with you because if anything messes with the fields and the poles, then it'll, especially if there's any kind of energy portal, if it's a larger energy, then your compass is going to redirect its true north to pointing at the energy source.
Right.
Have you ever heard of the Estes method?
No.
That sounds familiar.
So basically, the Estes method is pretty much a foolproof kind of thing. You cover the user's eyes, you put headphones on, and they're listening to the spirit box. You ask questions. If they answer, obviously there's something there. If they don't, then obviously there's nothing there. We watch a couple YouTubers. Their names are Sam and Colby.
Yes.
And they taught me the Estes method, and we use it pretty religiously when we do spirit box stuff. It's how we talk to some of our dead relatives.
It's a really interesting method, but I didn't know what it was called. But yeah, I've seen some ghost hunting shows where they'll put someone in the room and take away their senses, their hearing and their sight. And yeah, they'll ask the questions and then there's someone in the other room listening to the spirit box and all of that to see if they hear anything.
Be going in there scared, and then y'all want to take my senses? No, absolutely not. And then leave me there with the ghost by myself while somebody else
And
is
all
in
you
the other
can hear
room?
is static.
Hell no.
All you can hear is static and radio.
Volunteers only. We're not gonna make you do
Nope.
it.
Oh, I
This
know.
one over
I know.
here, Gabs is really, really good at it. She's like the only one that can hear anything that comes through. It's weird.
That-
I've never tried it.
It's
Take
very
Wicked with you.
interesting. Take me
Take
with
Wicked
you.
with you.
Queen's like,
I'll
I'm
go.
gonna give Wicked away. You can have Wicked. I see how it is. You know, love me.
Queen's already back in the van. It's fine.
No, she
I am.
drove off.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's already at
Queen
home.
Lynn drove off.
She's home.
She's wrapped
As
in a
soon as
blanket.
y'all hear a response, it's like, oh, there's something in there. Gotta go.
I see how
Gotta
it
go.
is. What happened
Walk
to
out
ride
the.
or die, girl? What happened to ride or die?
As soon as Spookies gets involved, it's a problem. Okay, I still
He
ride or
wrote.
die from a distance.
As
Okay,
soon
I'm
as Spooky
praying
gets
for
involved,
you.
she takes the die out of there.
That's
Walks
true.
out
Yeah.
after the investigation. Where'd she go?
Oh my god, we can take
I
Leia.
see.
We
I
can take
went.
this one.
I went to
She's dead.
church. I went to church. That's where
She's
I'm
like,
going.
take me to
I went to
church.
Starbucks, you know.
Yeah. Got me a
Wait,
got me a coffee.
do you want an iced coffee? I'm gone. Bye.
Yeah.
I'll
If
bring
you're
donuts
still
back too.
look, if
Yep.
you're still alive when I get back, you can have that iced coffee and a donut.
That's right. You want it glazed? I got you.
I need it filled with Bavaria cream. Okay.
Oh, I love
You get what you
Bavarian
want.
cream.
If I'm hunting ghosties, you're bringing me back a Bavaria donut, okay?
Now I want a donut.
Well,
Cat's like, now I want a donut.
speaking of spookies, okay. So I was raised Muslim. Now I don't follow the religion anymore, but as a kid, it wasn't by choice. There was you don't get to say so. So I was, we have a very weird thing when it comes to jinns. So jinns, there's three different kinds within the Islamic religion. And they're basically demons, but with like different kinds of what they'll do to you. Like one's to trick your mind, one is to corrupt your soul. One is yes.
Have you ever experienced one yourself?
No, I have not. But I also was taught how to avoid them. So I think that's why I've never experienced one. Or, again, this is also what they believe. Now, whether it's true, like I believe in the paranormal. I believe there's all sorts of things out there. Um, but I've never really had an experience when it comes to jinns.
Right.
And that is because again, like I said, there's three different kinds. They all do something different. And so, like for example, in the Islamic religion, you do prayers and you do it 5 times a day. And there's different times of the day that you do it. And there's one specifically which is called Maghrib time. And that is when the sun is setting. And you have to turn on all the lights in your house for an hour before it gets dark outside, so that there will be no jinns in the house. Is to keep the dark outside. So we'd turn on all the lights, and I mean bathroom, kitchen, everything, everywhere. All the lights had to be turned on for an hour. And it would be to prevent any sort of jinn being around. Now, if you did have to be outside, you needed to be in a well-lit area. I'm talking about even if that was just under like, the neighborhood lights or something. You need to be where it's lit. Don't be in the dark when the sun is setting. And that is because they think this specific jinn obviously stays in the shadows, and that is the kind that corrupt your soul, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, and then there's, um, I've told Wicked a lot of these, like the superstitions of, like if you yawn, you have to cover your mouth, or a jinn will go into you, go into your soul. So every time we yawned, we had to cover our mouths. There is a lot of, but like you can't even really say demons or anything, because again, that just like how we believe, or I think in Christianity they believe if you say the D word, then it'll come around. It's
Mhm.
basically the same thing for jinns. You just don't say it. But it's in the Quran as well, about all these different types of jinns, what they do, how you become one. Like if you don't have the proper burial, or you don't have uh, loved ones surrounding you when you're passing and stuff like that, they think you'll become a jinn. And they think that black cats carry jinns around, like with them. Like a black cat is like, it got corrupted somehow. It's racist as shit. But that's exactly, what they think, like, is a corrupted jinn in a feline form.
Right.
So,
That makes me sad to hear that. Black cats are my favorite.
right, they're my favorite too. And that's
Black
why,
cats are
again,
awesome.
Well, I mean, there's
Okay,
also
stop.
people who believe that
Oh,
cats
what is
are the
that?
protectors of
Joey
the
made it. It looks
underworld,
like
and
curry chicken.
or
It's
cats
curry
are.
chicken.
But there's
Sorry,
people
go
who
ahead.
believe that cats are protectors of the underworld, or that cats are the rulers of the underworld. Just
That's
they
what I
they
like
think
to
cats
think.
are evil.
That's what I like to think. I think that, again, I loved cats. Obviously, I have one that looks just like cats, kitten right there.
Isn't it? It's the Egyptian religion that worship cats
Mhm.
as like
It's
gods,
the
right?
Yes, they
Yes.
did. Cats
They
were
buried their
the
cats with their dead. That way it would help ward off
Mhm.
cats were
negative energies
treated
and death.
very well. Cats were highly regarded by the Egyptians.
And also, I think because with cats being able to see spirits and stuff like that, that was
Mhm.
another reason why they don't like cats in the Islamic religion, because they're like, oh, they can see all these creepy things. It's because they're one of them, type thing. And it's just like,
It's not true.
what makes sense to
Animals
you?
animals are like kids. Their minds are
Right.
just more open to that than most
Oh, yeah.
people's minds,
Hmm.
because cats and dogs and other animals aren't corrupted by society, I guess
Hmm.
you'd say. Um, so
Oh,
yeah.
dang, babe, that's so good. I'm sorry. I had to let it
Ask
out.
Joey if he made me any.
But that's what I was saying about kids earlier. When they're
Ryan
younger,
wants to know if you
their
made him
minds are
any.
more open until they get older and
He
society
said there's
tells
leftovers.
them
Come on.
this isn't true, don't believe
Hmm.
in this. So then their minds kind of close to that.
Yes.
But you
Yes.
do have people who grow up and they're like, no, I believe in this. And their minds are a lot more open
Hmm.
and all of that. And there's a lot more people now than back in the day whose minds are more open. They are what do they call it? The awakening. People are getting woke pretty
Hmm.
much.
Hmm.
So there's a lot more people who believe in those things. There's a lot more people who are in tune. with their third eye or whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
know.
that, one of the reasons I read that cats tend to, or people think of cats as being able to ward off evil spirits or kind of protect them from negative energies is because cats are thought to have a very strong aura, or like an astral force,
Yes.
Mhm.
and the stronger your astral force is, the more it can repel negative energies. So that's why the thought is that demons and demonic energy and negative energy of that sort tends to be repelled by felines.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Oh my god,
have a
I'm
little
surrounded by
story.
cats.
I have a little story from when I was pregnant with my son. There was a cat. I was probably like 3 or 4 months pregnant with my son. And there was this cat that just showed up at my door. And for some reason, this cat was super, super obsessed with me. And I ended up keeping it. But I felt kind of uneasy with this cat at the same time. Like it seemed like really weird at times, the way it would just look at me and just stare at me, and I got really uneasy with it. And one day I was laying on the couch and it just come up and just stared into my eyes, and I was like, okay, you've got to go. Like, just something about the way it looked at me made me really uneasy, and I was like, you've got to go. And I told my husband at the time, I was like, get this cat out of here. I don't like it. It's got to go.
Mm-hmm. So you never figured out like why it was so creepy?
No. No, it just gave me bad vibes. Like I got bad vibes from this cat. I was like,
Dang.
I don't need this cat around me. Like I just felt like if I kept this cat even after I had my son, I
Mm.
had this really weird feeling that something bad was going to happen. Like this forewarning that
Oh
this cat
wow.
being around my kid was going to be bad.
The
Dang.
cat could have been trying to actually tell you about something that could have happened, and just because you're like getting those negative vibes, it could have been trying to be like, hey, something bad could be happening, something bad could be coming. However,
Yeah.
I've like it depends on I'm Catholic, but I am open to a lot of different things. I've studied multiple religions, studied multiple languages, I've studied multiple subjects, and
Movie Get Off
it
the Windowsill.
we can also look into the side that like Buddhists look into with reincarnation. And if you're talking about a cat that is, or any kind of animal that kind of just shows up in your life and is acting strange from a normal animal kind of
Mhm.
persona, then it could be like a sort of reincarnation of someone coming back into your life, and that can be somebody that you don't want there. Um,
Right.
or the
Well,
cat
I
could have been trying to
mean,
communicate with your son
not
through you.
not long after that, me and my husband did start having some problems. I found some things out about him and just some other stuff, and we ended up splitting. But no, this cat was super awkward. I didn't like it. Like it made me very uneasy, and I just didn't want it around me or my child, you know. And I've never felt like that about any other animal. It's never, no other animal has made me feel like that. And I've had plenty of cats since then, and none of them made me feel like that. Just that one.
What happened to the cat?
Um, my husband took it to the shelter. So maybe hopefully somebody adopted it, but it just couldn't be with me. You go somewhere else, you find a family that will take your weirdness.
Mhm. So is every do any are y'all superstitious? Everybody here?
Not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
A little stitious? I don't know.
She's slightly stitious, you know, not super, but
I'm
like
slightly
that.
suspicious.
What
Because
Um,
I'm
superstitions do
Latina,
you
I'm
guys?
fucking superstitious.
What superstitions do you guys believe in?
Broom falls, company's coming. Spill salt, throw it over your shoulder. Okay,
see,
so
I've
it's a.
spilt salt so many times and I don't throw that shit over my shoulder.
I don't usually spill salt, but
I do
I
believe
think a
in
lot of
if you break a mirror that you'll have 7 years of bad luck.
yeah, I don't trust mirrors.
Mine is don't rock a rocking chair with nobody in it. That's
Really?
a southern one. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mine
I've
has
heard
What's the
that
nothing to
one.
do
basis
with that.
behind
It was
that
never.
one?
Heard that one.
Yeah. That one I was always told because I would rock a rocking chair with my foot because it was right in front of me.
Mhm.
And I'd be in the other rocking chair and I'd be sitting by myself and my mom would literally like snap like grab the chair and stop it. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Sitting?" You know, like
Just
what happened?
vibing?
She's like,
Existing?
yeah. And she's like, "You do not rock a rocking chair with nobody in it." And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because then you're asking for somebody to come sit in it, and it's
Yeah,
not a good thing." Like,
it's an invitation for ghosts or evil
mhm,
spirits into your house to come and
mhm,
like join you.
yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Have y'all
And
ever
then
heard of the one that if uh if someone's sweeping and they accidentally sweep your feet, you'll never get married or some
I've
shit
heard of
like
it.
No.
that? I've heard that one. I have a big Italian Catholic family, and that was one of their superstitions. Oh,
Hmm.
if your feet get swept, you'll never get married. You'll never nobody will ever want you. I'm like, okay. My feet have been swept so many times. I got married, unfortunately.
There's a
Oh,
southern one that's
Look, it's only
never
because of the
eat
person I ended up marrying. Okay.
never eat both ends of a loaf of bread
Really?
because if you do, you'll never be able to make ends meet.
oh,
Yeah. That
Interesting.
wasn't one that I grew up with, but it was one that a friend told me, a friend in South Carolina.
oh, yeah. I have one where you don't throw a
Plug
hat
it
on the
in.
bed. No hats on the bed ever. You
Okay.
Have
have to
you
wear
heard the one about wishing somebody a happy birthday too early?
No.
I've heard something about that. I don't know exactly how it goes, but I have heard that it's
So
like
if you
bad.
wish somebody a happy birthday a day early or earlier, it's supposed to like bring bad luck for the entire year.
Oh wow.
To you or the person?
To the person.
Well,
That's
shame on everybody who
So
wished
you're
me an early
cursing
happy
people?
birthday.
Essentially, yes.
that's
You just
Dang.
have a falling out with one of your best friends. Happy birthday. My birthday's in 3 months. Exactly.
disrespect.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Look, um,
Good
Me.
Have
luck
fun.
reaching
so many
it.
different superstitions like don't walk under a ladder.
I
Uh,
Mhm.
can't.
don't open an umbrella in the house.
You
Just
can't
all
what?
kinds of
I
shit.
can't walk under a ladder. I refuse to.
Really?
You believe in
I
that superstition?
I I will physically move a ladder out of the way so it's not in front of me.
Me too.
I'm too lazy and I'm short. I'm not doing.
And on
I'm
the one that
walking.
Rye shared about telling someone happy birthday too early, it's kind of funny. I go around work and sometimes I'll just greet people for the day with happy birthday. So now I feel really bad, thanks.
You've been cursing everyone that you've ever met.
That's what it
Shame
This
ends up
on
inside
being.
joke, man. The first time we ever met, it was happy birthday, and I'm like, I don't know you.
The next day, like 10 seconds later, he like stubs his toe and he's like, mother.
Yeah. Falls down a flight of stairs. That son of a bitch.
Damn it, I lost my job today. Now I'm getting evicted. Fuck.
What the hell is happening?
Oh, damn it. I have depression now. Thanks, Brandon.
Oh no!
Oh, Oh, there's another one. If you hang a mirror by your door, or like by like your entrance to your house, hang a mirror by the door. It's supposed to, like, it says that the devil is so vain that he'll get distracted looking in the mirror until sun rises and
I
forget
actually
that
have
shit.
a mirror right at my front door.
No, I've heard
It's a
that
big
one.
one.
I have
It's a
heard
big
about that
one
one
too.
because the devil is supposedly very
I'm
vain.
pretty sure the Prince of Darkness is not gonna get that stuck on the mirror. Like, damn, I look good.
Yeah. He like
Look,
sits
look.
there fixing his horns, stands him up a little bit.
He's like, damn. Mm, I'm feeling
Fine as
myself.
hell.
Let's
Sexy as
go.
hell.
Comes in my realm. Too sexy for this planet. Too sexy.
Have you heard the "don't go right home after a funeral" superstition?
Heard
No.
that one.
Oh.
Follow you.
Yep.
You're supposed to go somewhere else because you could have a bad spirit follow you home.
Is that where
But
the
wasn't
tradition of like after funeral like parties and services came
Yep.
from?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
But then you've
she's
got
like,
like
So-
El Dia de los Muertos
We go to
and
dinner.
different holidays that the Latino community has, where they would literally dig up their dead relatives and dress them up and repaint their faces and do makeup and like party with them. That way it
yes.
includes, it's to like re-include them in the family, because even though they're dead, they're still part of the family.
Yeah.
And they want to like
Like, it
keep showing their
sounds
gratitude and stuff.
beautiful, but like just picturing it, it's terrifying.
Very morbid, yeah.
And
It
there's
is
people
very,
that actually
very
still do
morbid.
that. Like that
Yeah.
they still
Oh yeah, no,
do.
it's
Yeah.
still a practice. In
Well,
some
it's like
areas.
And
back
I've
in the
watched a video
day
on it. It's
whenever they keep their
creepy.
dead in the house for so many days after they
Mhm.
die, like they'd
Oh, all
sleep
the
in the same
pictures.
house with their dead for
Yeah,
so many
and
days because
all of
that
the
was their
pictures
practice.
where they would take pictures of dead people before they like, but they would have to sit them up and like
I
they'd have
don't
to sit still for so long, and they
I
would
don't
take
like
family
that.
portraits with their dead.
I don't like that. You don't take pictures of the dead. I'm sorry. That is a superstition of mine. Don't take pictures of the dead.
But
It
wasn't
is
during
not
like the
cool.
1800, like somewhere in that time, that's what they used to do? They would have their family pictures with the person in the
Yes.
casket?
So, fun fact about me, I am related to two of the guys who ran with Jesse James and the younger gang, Ed and Clell Miller. And there are some pictures of them after they died. Super creepy. I find it to be very weird.
grandmother took pictures of my grandfather.
Well,
In his coffin.
I have a cousin
It's
who they
creepy.
lost their baby after she was born. I think she died like 12 hours after she was born. She was born too early. And his wife, in her grieving process, she had lots of pictures of Lydia. And she would post them on Facebook, and I told my grandma, I said, I can't. Like, I'm gonna have to take her off my Facebook because I can't go through every day and see pictures of this deceased baby. Like, I know that it doesn't look like it, but I know that this baby is no longer with us, and it bothered me. It was
Yeah.
unsettling for me. But
Yeah,
that's
see,
something that I never believed in, taking pictures of the dead. It's just not cool.
I think it's creepy to do something like that. Like anything before obviously is fine. But I even think like when people are suffering and you take pictures of like if they're going through an illness or something like that,
Right.
like cancer or something, and they're unrecognizable.
Don't take
Like I don't
pictures
feel
of
like
You don't want to
I
remember them like that.
no, and like people will share those kind of pictures, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like I don't think that they would want to be seen
They're like, oh, well,
like
we
that,
need memories. We need to have something. Why would you want memories of that? Why would
Mm-mm.
you? Why would you want to relive those
Sad
horrible
I'm
times.
not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
endings?
When my mom was going through cancer,
Mm-hmm.
there were a few times that I took pictures of her, especially right after her surgery,
Mm-hmm.
because if you knew my mother, like I said, Lieutenant Colonel, like nurse for 50 years, little Scottish, German, Irish leprechaun. She was the stubborn, hard-headed as they come, and there were certain things like draining her lungs, draining her abdomen, working like cleaning and changing and maintaining her stoma, all that stuff. She wouldn't let the nurses touch her. Like I had to come and do that if she was in the hospital. She was at home, obviously I was doing that but any of those things like that needed done, if she was in the hospital, she would not let them do it there. So she was very difficult as a patient. She was very difficult even sometimes with me because she wanted to still be independent. She was a single mom. Like she raised me as a single mom. She was single most of her life. While she was working and raising me and taking care of my grandmother after she had a stroke, she was like I grew up on a farm, so she was also taking care of a wool farm. She was doing everything and she did it all by herself. So she did not like being sick. She did not like being incapacitated. After her surgery, she did not wake up right away. And I remember seeing her, and it was like just her in a bed, looking like a shell of herself. But there were so many tubes and wires and monitors and screens just connected to her that I was like, okay, I have to take a picture of this. Because the next time she fights me on something, I'm going to be like, this is you 2 seconds away from death.
Now, see that there maybe that's understandable.
So I had to just for that.
I took pictures of my mom before she passed away, and that was because I had not seen her 5 years prior to that. So we got, me and my sister got pictures with her, but I never shared any of those photos with anyone.
Right.
Like the only thing you'll ever see is one where I'm kissing my mom's hand. And that's it. And that was as much as people were going to see. And like a lot of people requested, they're like, oh, we want to see how she looked and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. I was like, you're not, you know what she looked like. Remember that. I was
never
like,
posted them.
Yeah.
Put them
Yeah,
anywhere.
you don't want
about, like,
anybody to remember her like that. Let them
I
remember.
know,
Let them
like
remember
there are some
them.
people who've asked, and if they're in person with me, then I'll be like, oh well, this is what it was. This is what I was taking care of. Like this is what I was dealing with by myself. And there have been people who are like, oh, my mom was just diagnosed with cancer, or my dad was just diagnosed with cancer. I know you lost your mom to this. Like, what was your experience? And I'll do the, okay, well, I can give you the easy story, or I can give you, like, the play-by-play of how bad it can be.
Yeah.
And if they go that way, then I'm, like, I show them everything. But as far as pictures go with that kind of stuff, again, I grew up in a medical household. Like, I was studying to be a neurosurgeon. It's just, like, she would come home with pictures that she wasn't technically supposed to show me because of, and just be like, look, we took out a gallbladder and there was a baby liver on the back of it. How cool is that? As we're eating spaghetti. And she was like, showing
Wow! As you're
holy
eating
crap.
spaghetti.
Yeah.
Cool.
Delish.
And I'm like, holy crap, Mom, that's so cool. Meatball. Could they technically keep that liver and like? And then she's like, yeah, technically, if they wanted to, they could have kept that liver and grown it or transplanted it. Like, oh, if they had done this, 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 and this. And I'm like, great. That sounds really cool. Yeah, that was how I grew.
She's so animated. Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Extra meatball. Can I get more sauce on this? So was that really bloody and goopy when you pulled it out?
Oh my god.
That was literally my life. It was like
it.
there was it was
Everybody, meet Cat.
Okay. I may or may not have autism. So.
Just diagnosed by TikTok.
May or may not.
I definitely.
Just say you've been diagnosed by TikTok.
Yeah.
Burner said intestines and meatballs. Wow.
Dude, I'm telling you, when I don't know, I talked to a couple of you guys about this, but I watched the HBO Max series Love and Death. I don't know if anybody's seen it.
Yeah, I've seen little snippets of it on TikTok.
This past Wednesday was the last episode.
I need to watch it. What I saw was pretty interesting.
Thursday. Yeah, I watched it on Thursday on my birthday. And because I've kept up with the series as they've put out episodes. And my birthday meal that was bought for me by my stream. If you knock my camera over, I'm gonna be pissed. Get out of there. Was Chinese, and I had like, I mean, the girl saw it. Like when I eat, I eat. So there was like a lot of
She don't eat a
Chinese.
little bit. She eat a lot of
No,
bit.
she does. She eats a lot.
So there was like like 4 big containers of Chinese, and I have my bowl and I have a little bit of everything on there, and I'm just like I started the episode and I'm like eating, and I'm streaming. And this last episode was the one where like they're doing the end of the trial, and so she takes the stand and gives her account of what had happened, and they hadn't shown it yet. And like I've been waiting and waiting for like more kind of snippets of them doing like a flashback of what happened in the room, like how the fight went down, like because that's the only thing that we haven't seen the entire time. And I'm just like sitting here eating, and she starts talking, and I'm expecting to like listen to her recount, and then they just flash back and they show the entire thing in all of its bloody, gory acts, and the head splitting open, the skull into the brain details, blood flying everywhere as I'm like. And then I stop for a second because, like, some of it's getting juicy on the screen, and I looked down at my
I
food
think
and
that
I'm
was
like,
the right
Like,
word.
are we talking about bloody
Number 8.
juicy or just the details of it were juicy?
bloody, gory, juicy.
I don't think that was the right word to use there, but it's appreciated.
Totally correct.
Yeah.
So juicy.
so juicy. And I'm like, I stopped for a second and I looked at, because I'm eating General Tso's chicken, right? So it's like red and kind of gooey.
Mhm.
After I've watched blood spew all over this room, and
Ugh.
like you can see brain chunks, and so
Wow.
I was just like, damn, I wasn't ready for this. Oh,
Wow.
oh, that was unexpected. But then I went back to eating, and I still ate almost all of it.
She's like,
Second dinner.
like I thought
Looking at
She
about
got her
it.
second win.
Nope, I'm good.
slowed me down for about 10 seconds, but your cute old girl got back into it.
You had to power through, you know. Power through for the squad.
Power through for the 4 stomachs.
Yeah, thanks. That's my vape, but go ahead. That's fine. Yeah, all right.
I got it. I'm on it.
All right, Wicked. Your turn, ma'am.
For what?
The ghost types.
Ghost
All
types.
the different types. All the different types.
Oh, dude. There's so many.
There is, and that's what makes it so fascinating. You know, I actually have me and Wicked have talked about this, but like we were talking about what kinds of ghosts are like the scariest, you know, and I've always thought that Asian, like their
The
folklore of
Japanese
the
ghosts are the
Japanese
best.
ghosts, terrifying. Terrifying. Like there's never a time that they're not scary.
Look,
There's never a pretty story
no
about them.
shortage. There's no shortage of Japanese
Mm-mm.
ghosts either. Like you've got the Onryo.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yokai.
the Onryo is
Oni.
actually one of the most depicted ones in the movies.
Mhm.
If you've seen The Ring, that is an Onryo. That is a depiction of an Onryo. They are a vengeful spirit. A woman who was wronged in life, and she comes back for revenge after death.
Is that what the grudge is too? Then.
Yes. Yeah. So
She
it's
always
not
talks
always
about
it's not always necessarily a woman, but that's what they depict the Onryo as mostly, is a scorned woman.
Mhm.
And then you've got the
Dead by
Oni,
Daylight.
which is actually the mascot of Raw Nation, the Oni. It is a
The
demon, and there are multiple different types of Oni demons. Some are protectors, some of them are family members who come back to protect their family after they died. And then there's also one, it's women who leave their bodies at night, like their heads
Astral, like
come
astral
from their
projection?
body. No, their heads literally detach from their body, and they just float around at night while the body's sleeping, and they eat. I think what they do is they go around and they drink like lighter fluid and shit like that. They like to drink the fluid from the lamps
I'm
and stuff
sorry.
like that. It's weird. It's weird. Then you have the Japanese ghost story where certain certain things like say a lamp or a mask or something like that, once it reaches a certain age, it takes on a spirit of its own, and they are practical jokers. They like to play jokes on people. And so that's one of the funnier Japanese spirit stories. But yeah, there's a lot of different ones, and I find them absolutely fascinating.
Like,
You have the yokai, the yuri or the yuri, however you pronounce that. I can't remember all the stories of them right off the bat, but yeah,
there's the
there's.
Aokigahara, the the unalive yourself forest.
Oh yes.
I want to visit that so bad.
I have actually done a little bit of research into that one, and I do know that a YouTuber, if I remember correctly, a YouTuber went to that forest and actually had footage of someone who had unalived themselves in that forest,
It
and
was Logan Paul.
Logan
Logan
Paul
Paul.
that
Yes,
he was looking
he
to.
got a lot of backlash for that because
Mhm.
yeah, it was bad. I think he almost got canceled, or he did get canceled for that.
He's
He
gotten
did.
canceled quite a few
Okay.
times.
Um,
But
he
so there's supposed to be a
he's
lot of spirits there because of how many people, but it started like way before people just like normal people did, because it used to be the place where monks would go to slowly like
yeah,
serve. And
yeah.
so now
Um,
it said that if you even go in there, there's a huge chance that you won't come back out.
well, it's also said that if you go in there, like this feeling of just deep depression will fall over you, and you'll just get super sad and depressed. And
When
but
they
a
do
lot of
tours
people
in the
do go
forest,
there. Hmm?
when they do tours in the forest, they actually say if you're feeling depressed or something, you're not supposed to be on this tour.
No, you don't go in there because it's supposed to just bring your spirits down. Just make you so sad, like this feeling of just hopelessness and everything
That's
like
because
that.
all of those spirits are still trapped there for eternity, living out
Yeah,
literally the last
you're
days of their
feeling their
lives. And
feelings.
so you're feeling hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of people's depression, unaliving themselves depression.
But
Just
yeah, that's the forest
seeping
they would all
through
go
eternity.
to just
Yeah.
end it, you know? And that's how it got its name. So, can't say the name on stream, but yeah, that's how it got its name.
That's crazy. Mm.
Yeah. Um,
We actually have a bridge in San Diego that's called something similar to that
Yep.
that you'll see, and it's yeah, I've heard a lot of stories of people jumping, and it's a very very tall bridge.
right.
I think the story behind that is like a woman and her baby. She jumped off with her child.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. There's been a whole bunch, and people have said that at night, if you're on that bridge, creepy stuff happens.
Oh
They've seen
yeah.
people
There's a
like
lot of
there's like
stories about
no
bridges. I'm
room
not gonna lie. Bridges
to
kind of freak
walk.
me out.
Oh, well, at night they're terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But like this particular bridge, there's like no place for you to walk. It's not for walking.
Right.
Yet they will swear up and down that they've seen
Hold on,
people
baby.
walking this bridge and they think it's, but like if a cop because again, you're not allowed to walk on it. You're not
Oh,
supposed
no.
to. So if a cop, but cops have stopped to, tell people to get off the bridge, and once they get out of the car, they're not there.
Right.
It's I thought it was like a bunch of BS at first, but we actually knew somebody that was like, no, that's true. Like it
Yeah.
happens all the time on a regular basis. I was
Wait,
like,
what does?
the at night seeing people walking,
Oh.
but then they're not there. As soon
Right.
as they get out of the cop car, like to stop and tell them, get off the bridge, they're like, it's not there. Nobody's there.
Well, there's a story about a graveyard in Independence close to where I used to live. But there's a little graveyard and there's a little girl's grave and she's got like a little, we call it the dollhouse, because her mausoleum is I think her dad built it and it looks like a little pink dollhouse. And if supposedly if you get down there and you knock on her door 3 times, you'll hear her knock back. I've had some friends who went and did it. They claim they heard the knocking back, but I've never done it myself. But yeah. So that's one of the stories from around here. And then we have a road called Spook Hill Road. Down the road from where I grew up, and right down that road there is also Crystal Lake. And supposedly on Halloween night, if you go down that road and you go to the very middle of the road, like the middle ways down it, and you stop your car, you turn the engine off and just turn your headlights on. Supposedly, you can see orbs floating up into the middle of the road. You can see people walking, which are the spirits of the people who died in an accident on that road. Just different little things, but they claim that you go do that on Halloween night at midnight. So
Very
really
similar
interesting.
with a bridge here a couple hours from us in Cedar Rapids. It's called Matzel's Bridge. They say if you turn your car off, shove it in neutral, you'll get moved to the other side of the bridge and you'll see like handprints and stuff all over your windshield and all your windows.
I've heard of that one.
Your daughter scaring the absolute shit out of me.
Yeah,
All I
I peed.
saw was like a little girl popping. I forgot she was there. Oh my god.
What?
I peed.
My heart.
Yeah.
I was about to be like, you got your own spookies.
You're
I think the
welcome.
only bridge thing that I know of is I'm from West Virginia, and so it was kind of close to where I was from. Is
I
kind of
used to
close
live
to
there.
Point Pleasant. I lived between Hurricane and then Huntington and Bruceville, those areas.
I'm from Huntington.
Yeah, I went to Marshall. We are.
So did my dad.
So we had the Mothman.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mothman.
I've heard of the Mothman.
God.
Oh, we had the Mothman. So that was like a whole thing.
I don't
Keep
know
your kids
how.
indoors during the nighttime. He'll take them.
Look, we have multiple different things here. We have the Rougarou, which is like half. There's so many different stories on the Rougarou. Supposedly it's half alligator, half human. Or you've got the ones who claim it's half goat, half alligator, half human. Or not half and half, but it's part
It's got, like,
alligator,
wolf in it.
part
West
goat.
Virginia had the Goat Man too.
Yeah.
The Goat Man,
I
yeah.
forgot about the Goat Man.
And then we have there's one I can't remember what they call it, but it is the reason for sleep paralysis. So they claim that if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't move and you can't speak, only thing you can do is just look around. Supposedly there's a demon sitting on top of you. Just different stuff like that.
Yeah, sleep paralysis too. I've heard of that.
Burners had sleep paralysis before.
couple
That's some
times.
scary stuff. It's happened to me multiple times.
Forgets that.
And then you have the shadow people. My
The
belief with
Shadow Man.
the shadow people, I've done some research into them as well, and there's multiple different people who believe different things as far as the shadow people. Some believe that they are time travelers, who are sent here to observe us, and that's why they never touch you, they never talk to you, they just stay in the shadows and watch and record. And then, but there are multiple different types of shadow people. So you've got um, the shadow man with the hat. You've got the shadow people with the red eyes. Um, just different stuff. I myself have never seen them. But my son has. He has come to me multiple times telling me that he sees shadows watching him at night. But he said it's when he's close to falling asleep that he'll notice them. I think it's because his guard is kind of down and he's right between asleep and awake, and he's more aware of what's going on. My nephew has told me that he's seen one. He would be walking outside, and out of the corner of his eye, he'd catch someone just watching him, but whenever he'd look at them straight on, they weren't there. Just different stuff like that.
I used to see shadow people dancing on my walls in the same house that my parents did the Ouija board.
Ooh, creepy stuff.
So we only live about 3 hours away from the Velisca house.
I've heard of that one.
So
Is it
is that
3?
in Iowa?
Yeah, it's in Iowa.
Yep, my friend Kristen actually lived in the city that, or I guess it's like a township. It's like 100 people, but she used to say she lived like right down the street and she could like see things walking on the property.
Yeah.
That's what they say. They say you can see stuff walk on the property and in the windows. You can hear noises, screams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many different places and so many different urban legends. It's crazy.
See, I want to do the schoolie, that way I can like have my pets with me and like travel, and I want to visit some of these places, but I'm also like, maybe I should build it that way there's like a line of sand or a line of salt in the doorways and the windowsills, just like a tube that I can like install around the edge of my bus. Fill my
It's
windshield
really
wiper
close to
fluid with
me
holy
and
water.
still rent it for the night. I'd take a Bible.
Yeah.
Armageddon said I'd take a Bible. Raw Ghost Hunting Group confirmed. Yes, I do believe
Happening.
I will have my cats
it's
with
gonna
me.
happen. It's gonna be a big ass collab.
I'll drive.
That's
She's like, I'll
half of my
drive this way. I can
curiosity killed
stay
the cat
in the
videos right
vehicle.
there.
There's just so many haunted areas around us. It's
There really
and I'm
is.
sure there is
There's
around
just
you
been
guys
so
too.
much death.
Oh yeah.
I've got
area.
the Myrtle Plantation.
Ooh.
Dude,
There
the South is
is
like rabid with it. South and like
Yes.
West Coast in
super
New
full
England.
of
I mean,
paranormal.
Salem, the town Salem itself, the whole thing is just haunted.
Well, the whole place was turned into a tourist attraction, and that is their thing. People go there to witness the ghosts of the supposed witches who were burned at the
And
stake and
to
all
my understanding, to turn something into a tourist attraction, I'm pretty sure it pisses off spirits as it is. So
it does, because you're bringing so many people into their
basically their realm.
space. Yeah, you're fucking with their place
On
of
top of
rest.
that, I've read a bunch of accounts saying that like, yeah, they burned and accused a bunch of people of being witches, but they didn't actually get many of the actual witches.
No.
And that it was mainly a lot of people that either just happened to see something or be around something
Look,
or
I'm gonna
know
tell you
something,
right
but
now,
also people that were kind of scapegoats.
if you're
Was
going
not
after a
coincidental.
witch, do you really believe that if they're an actual witch that you're gonna get anywhere
You're
near
gonna be able
them
to find
without getting
out.
hurt?
Yeah.
I mean,
It
they
was
are
not
going to
coincidental.
hook you up.
Which
So
which means
unfortunately, these women,
it's a, they were
you
innocent. It was
know,
a bunch of innocent women that were essentially like tortured and killed, which
yeah,
creates vengeful spirits. And then we're
very much
bringing a
so.
bunch of people in to poke around at the vengeful spirits and to try to take pictures and look at said vengeful spirits. And that
The Raw
creates
Schoolhouse is a good
just
one
like a
too in
whole
Iowa. Enough
negative
has to know
state
how
of
to hide in the school from a
death.
ghost.
Sounds like, yeah, it sounds like causes problems.
Yeah, a little bit.
Um,
What gave it
actually,
away, Soul?
Messing with
actually,
stuff you shouldn't be messing with.
actually, one of the
Poke the
swamps
dead
here
zombie
in
bear.
Louisiana, which I am probably about 15, 20 minutes away from in Manchac, is haunted by the ghost of a voodoo woman. Supposedly she would sit on her front porch singing a song pretty much because the whole town treated her like crap and made her an outcast. So she'd sit on the front porch of her house and she'd sing a song pretty much saying, one day when I die, I will take you all with me. And supposedly after she died, they were having like a funeral or something for her, and a hurricane came through and wiped the whole town out. And they were all buried in a mass grave with her in the swamp. And that
And
swamp
she's like,
is
now
super
I own your
haunted. Well,
soul.
Yeah.
that's pretty much what it came down to. She said that one day when she died, she'd take them, they would all go with her, and they sure the hell did. They were at her funeral, and that town got taken out.
She was
She
sitting
took
there
them
watching
with
that
her.
funeral, like, look at all these two-faced posing bitches.
But
Well, here comes
supposedly,
a
if
hurricane.
Oh my
yeah,
god.
supposedly if you walk into that, if you go into that swamp, you'll hear the cries of the victims, and there's a lot of activity out there.
I'd walk into that swamp and hear her cry and be
Taking
like, "Nope, I'm
notes.
out."
Why am I not making a list right now?
Don't worry, I got it.
Okay.
Armageddon say for Schoolhouse is a good one. 2 in Iowa. I've played enough Chaz to know how to hide in a school from a ghost.
Right?
Schools creep me out too.
Hmm
There's
Abandoned
too much.
ones
It's not
look
just
creepy as
abandoned ones,
hell.
even like non-abandoned ones. It's because there's too much negative energy in schools. Just it has to do with kids becoming adult, like the teenage years, and there's just a lot of depression and there's a lot of just mixed thoughts going on, and just schools just give me a lot of bad vibes. I like
Right.
if you think about how many school shootings that haven't happened just because people chickened out,
Yeah.
like those vibes are there.
Right.
I don't like it. It feels claustrophobic.
Stop.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Or
she's doing, y'all. She's in her
inter
own little world right now. She's like,
Throwing
she's
hand signs at
hanging
the
out. Yeah,
ghosts.
she's hanging out with her ghost friends in there apparently.
yeah,
He's ham
apparently.
boning.
No, she's had an experience herself. My grandmother died before she was born. She died about a year before Charlotte was born. And when Charlotte was about 4, she's 6 now, but when she was about 4, um, she came to me and she's like, Mama, Mama Chloe comes and visits me. And I'm like, Mama Chloe? I was like, you mean Mama Cleo? She's like, yeah. I was like, she visits you? She's like, yeah. I was like, is she nice to you? Yeah. And I was like, okay. I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, that woman right there. And she pointed at her picture. I was like, oh my God. Okay. And then in my old house, Queen can tell you, she saw orbs floating around my camera a lot. And
All the time.
my brother passed away in that house. I was with him whenever he did. Um, but his spirit pretty much stayed there. Um, and he was constantly with me every time I'd be streaming or something like that. Like some of my old streams, you can catch glimpses of something kind of floating up by my face, and it wasn't a bug, it wasn't dust, it was just something floating near my face, and then it would float right in front, and just different stuff like that. And I never felt uncomfortable or anything like that. So I had a feeling it was probably my brother kind of there with me because his death was very hard for me. Like he was older than me, but he was special needs, so I always called him my baby Bubba, and that was my heart. You know, whenever he died, it took a piece of my heart with him. So
Nice. It was better than what I thought when my mom passed away. I swore she was reincarnated into the cat that I have now. Because she hated cats. She hated cats. And this cat was born on the day that my mom passed away. Like month, day, everything to the T. And I cracked a joke to Chaos. I was like, what if mom got reincarnated as a cat? Like,
as
let's just
Aries,
say. And as Aries, and he is such an asshole. I was like, it totally makes sense. I was like, it totally makes. He doesn't love me. He doesn't like to be around me. If I'm kissing him, he looks like he's being punished.
Clearly,
Like,
that
it
cat
totally
found
makes
Wicked
sense.
first and decided to just stare into her eyes creepily until she got rehomed.
What?
Clearly, that cat found Wicked first and decided to just like jump on her and stare into her eyes creepily until he got rehomed.
yeah.
Like, this cat was. I saved this cat's life and everything just for him to mistreat me. I'm like, I'm telling you. I was like, this cat. And then, like, he's loving when he wants to be, which is rare.
Right.
But,
This is weird because my cat Obi is the exact same.
right?
And my cat Obi was born on my mom's birthday.
Oh.
And when she passed away about 17 years ago. And I swear it's same thing. It's my mother reincarnated as a cat.
I'm telling you, I truly believe like it was meant for me to get him and mess with him. And I always like I have my mom's ashes. I have her urn in my house. And I always talk shit to her ashes all the time. Because I said I would do that when she passed away anyway. And I was like, if you try some shit, I swear to God, if you try some shit, don't you dare try to haunt me. Don't do it. I will flush your ashes down the toilet so fast.
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
don't
Damn,
do it.
hot damn.
Oh yeah. That's
Coming for
that's
you.
the kind of relationship we had. I was like, I will do it. Don't fuck with me. And she like, and then when I got the cat, I was like, this has to be it right here. This is how she's fucking with me now. Because I love him, but he doesn't love me. He's like, okay, distance, all right, just over there. He just looks at me.
But he
all the
loves Joey.
loves obsessed with Joey. Like Joey, and Joey didn't want him. Joey did not want him. He's like, no, we're not getting a cat. I was like, so I waited until he got sick, and I went and got the cat, and he couldn't fight it because he was too sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you do it. That's
Uh-huh.
how you do
That's
it.
what I did, and
Oh
so
damn! You don't want the cat? You're sick now. We're
Yoink.
getting the cat.
You can't
yep,
fight
I
me
got
on
the cat.
this.
And then when I got him, he curled up right on Joey, and they have been two peas in a pod ever since. And I mean,
over here.
Fine.
Joey can say some fucked up shit to the cat too every once in a while. He'll just look at him and be like, dumbass, and then he goes and rubs himself all over him. I'm like, see, what the hell? I'm like, that's it. I'm telling you. Yeah,
You call the cat a dumbass. It gives you like the mean mug. Like the fuck you mean?
it does. It
Squares
just
up.
looks at me like, Who's the dumbass here?
Try me.
Yeah. hmm
You're talking about
Like, I
kids.
did get you, so I guess I am the dumbass. That's fine. It's fair.
Orange cats so much.
Good to keep.
Oh yeah, we just got an orange cat, and he is a psycho.
Oh, this is
Psycho
good. He's sweet, but he
kitty.
has his moments.
He is the most loving cat. That cat right there is the licks her all the time. 24/7. Look
I so I my last cat Jinx, whenever I would be on the computer or on my laptop, she would lay next to it and wrap her front paws around my arm and hold on to me while I was like typing or doing my homework.
So our cat Anakin, literally anytime that we come back here to play games together or something, he's like, "Oh, they're not here, so I need to go back there and bug them," and he'll just lay in my arms as I'm trying to stream or something. At
Sweet.
same time every night.
That
I
is the
like that your
cutest
cat's name is
ever.
Anakin.
Yep,
My cats
Obi-Wan.
are Vader, Leia, and
Turn
Storm.
it off.
So our first cat we got, we named him Obi after Obi-Wan, and we're just gonna have a plethora of Star Wars animals as we continue to build them.
My cats are named after Pokemon. Leo is short for Solgaleo. And then I have Steelix somewhere.
We named our animals after Greek mythology, so mine is Aries.
So I had a cat named Aphrodite.
I like it.
Yeah.
Our dog was Athena, and the dog before that, he was older, so I didn't get to name him, but if I could, I would have named him something. I love the Greek mythology stuff, so
Ugh,
all my
it's one of
animals
my
will have.
favorite things.
Obsessed. I feel like that should be something we do on the podcast too. That'd be great.
Yes, we
What, go
could.
into mythology?
You
Oh
could
yeah.
dress up. You could dress up as Medusa.
Yes. That's
We
my
should
bitch. Love her.
talk about okay, so again. Oh my god, Leo. His hair is just like
Yep, Anakin's the same.
Aries.
we should definitely go into oh, that's what I was gonna say. Again, I'm Catholic. That's just it. But I'm Catholic, but I say that a lot. I am a believer that like all religions kind of are based on like a general belief.
Yeah.
And if we talk about like Norse mythology and Greek mythology, and you look into like old like initial depictions of like Greek after Norse, where they kind of overlap a little bit.
Yeah.
Ben, my friend, was talking about this the other day because he loves that stuff. The original, you know how Thor, you've got like Thor and Mjolnir, but then you've got like Zeus, who's all thunderbolts and lightning. His original depictions were him with a hammer.
Yeah.
Right? And so before it like transformed more into lightning bolts and things like that, it was hammer, hammer, hammer with those original like the helmets.
Yeah.
We were talking about other religions as well, and how there's like 3 or 4 of like these more ancient deities that are wearing headdresses that are all almost exactly alike. And we're talking between Pharaoh, like Egyptian, we're talking South American, we're talking Native American, we're like everywhere. They all have like essentially they're wearing the same kind of headdresses.
Yeah,
So
but the Egyptians, like a lot of people believe that the Egyptian gods or the pharaohs or whatever the Egyptians worshipped were supposedly aliens, because if you look at the drawings of them, their heads and their faces and just everything about them is not normal.
and that's what I'm getting into, is that's not just the Egyptians, because if you combine like the Egyptians and the pyramids versus other not necessarily like buildings, because the Nazca lines aren't really a building, But there are these other things that are from ancient times that have either been built or put together or drawn over hundreds of kilometers that don't make sense to have been like
Nope,
capable by humans at the time.
it
And
wasn't.
they're all based on, like, they all come back to these religions that are based on having like similar beginnings and similar roots, and they all have these ties. So it, as soon as we go into one, it's we have to go into
Yeah,
all
we'll
of them.
have to do a podcast on that
We will.
One
because
of my degrees was in
I don't
classical
really want to get
mythology,
into
so
it right now.
Mhm.
But that is very interesting, and I would like to do a podcast on that if Queen's interested.
Oh, was that a friend in the background? That creeped me out too. See?
Yeah. See, yeah, Logan does that. Sorry about it. Me and my 74 roommates, I apologize.
You're fine. I just wasn't ready again with all the
all of
creepy.
mine are furry.
But so I think we are going to end it here with our final words. So we'll start from the top. Kat, do you have any final words for our beautiful viewers?
Words have power, and don't read the Latin.
Mr. Burner, do you have any final words?
Sleep paralysis hurts, and stay spooky.
I like it. Stay spooky. Ryan?
Just remember that if the devil can be charmed by himself in a mirror, you can too.
I like that one too.
Absolutely,
Yes.
Soul.
Stay in the light.
Stay in the light, yes.
He's like, just
Stay in the
avoid
light.
all of this.
Gatsby?
I just want to thank everybody for allowing me to join and for all the interesting lessons. And if anybody has any good stories, let me know.
Look, we were super excited to have you, and we will be doing more
Yes.
podcasts if you ever want to join us for any more.
Yes.
Amen.
Sky? Great talk. Loved it. We should
I don't
do
think
this
she's got
again.
anything.
I'm messing with her. All right. Well, then, Queen will go ahead with her final words, and then I will end it off.
All right. I don't got no final words, but I do have a thing to tell y'all and everybody that's watching.
Here for it.
We have our Raw Nation DJ making a comeback. And if y'all can, please, please, please show him your love because we have missed his face so much.
Yes,
And he is
absolutely.
popping off. It will be next weekend that he
Yes.
will be, and it'll be a big show, big show. That he's already got everything set up, and it's looking great. So just be sure to be there, guys. It's gonna be
And keep
awesome.
an eye on the Raw Nation Twitter and all that because
Yes.
we will be tweeting it out, among other things that will be tweeted out for this coming month. And did you have anything else, darling?
Nate, I bet you're looking like a snack, bro.
What about the clutch? Did you want to clutch one? Our new sponsor?
Oh yes, our new sponsor. If you want to keep your hands, what is
From
it
being
supposed to
moist.
keep your hand nice from
So
being moist? That's why you're gaming.
their formula is formulated to keep your hands
Brandon.
nice and dry.
Backwards.
So when you're in the middle of gaming or you're in the middle of a tournament or something like that, your hands will stay dry and you will be able to grip your controller even better. It gives you
Not to
good
be
grip,
used during
guys.
playtime.
Good
Do
grip.
not use it. Do not use it.
Damn it.
like
So I
that.
can't use it to. Okay. All right. Well,
Clutch
I
one,
guess.
Huh? Okay.
Don't lose your grip, guys.
Don't do it.
I thought I had multi uses.
All right. Is
Sainted
that it
I
for
meant
you,
the right
darling?
word. I said don't read the Latin. I specifically meant don't read the Latin out loud if you don't know what it means. Just don't do it. That's what I meant.
Oh,
Actually,
Alright,
if it's in a
so
different language and you don't know what it means, just don't read it out loud.
Same.
It's not just the Latin. We saw it in the Mummy. So.
so my final words are stolen from a movie. You are smart, you are kind, and you are important. And then finally, we
Wait.
have the Raw Nation GTA 5 RP server. It will be launching. We're looking to launch in June. June, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yep.
towards the middle or the end of June. Not
Put a
100%
lot of
sure on
work,
that.
a lot of work
But
into it, but it's gonna be
if you
dope.
are interested in joining the Raw Nation GTA 5 RP server,
Early access.
early access,
Mhm.
just get with Narrow Minds or one of the other one of the owners of Raw Nation, and we can get you in there and get you started and set up. Trying to think what else.
Join our Discord as well.
Yes,
It's in
definitely
chat.
join the Discord. It is in chat,
We are a
and
good time, I promise.
yes, we have lots of different things going on. June 25th. Is that when the Apex tourney is going to be, or is it the 24th? Well, anyways,
Yeah,
we're having a
around that time.
we're having a Apex Customs tournament.
Mhm.
It is for trios, and the entry is $15. I think the top two teams are going to get a cash prize. So if you would like to be a part of that, please join the Discord. We have lots and lots of events coming up, guys. We have community days, community nights, podcasts, the tournament, so many different things, and we would absolutely love to get more people joining in for that. Sometimes we even do Apex custom nights. We do Goose Duck, different games like that, stuff that we can really have fun with. So if you'd like to join in on that, please
Oh,
definitely come in
Amber
and
Heard is in the chat.
hola, Amber. And then we also have the Gulag podcast, hosted by Nero and Chaos Reigns and JT. Um, they will be doing their next podcast on the 30th of this month. On Nero's channel. It is gonna be on putting in the work with
Mhm.
streaming, what everybody's idea on what it means to put in the work for a stream or anything like that. Definitely check that out. Um, but like I said, if you want to know what's going on, follow us on Twitter, join the Discord. There's always going to be announcements on what's going on. We have the events tab. You can keep an eye on that and know what's going to be happening throughout the month. And that's pretty much about it. And also, if anybody would like to shout out themselves, now would be the time.
Yes,
We
please
have some
do.
amazing streamers here. So please go and show them some love. We have Crazy Cat here. She does multiple different types of streams. She does IRL streams. She does gaming streams. She does all
And
kinds of
pretty
stuff. We
soon we're
have
gonna be a life streamer. And
And
then we're
pretty
never gonna
soon,
stop.
hopefully, she's gonna be doing cooking streams, hopefully, in the
Yes.
near future. And then we
Beautiful
have
words.
the awesome Mr. Burner here, your snowman burner on Twitch and Kick.
Yes,
All right, so check him out on. You're doing mainly Kick right now, right?
that is correct.
Okay, so check him out on Kick, Snowman Burner, and then we have the awesome Ryan Relish here, who is streaming exclusively on Kick at the moment as well, right?
Yep.
So that's Ryan Relish on Kick. Gatsby, do you stream?
I do very rarely though. So You always
She's going to
catch
be
you
starting
again.
up on Kick, so make sure you guys go show her some love. She's new to the streaming stuff, so.
The Great Gatsby, is it The Great Gatsby or The Great Gatsby 1?
Great Gatsby 21.
21, okay. And then we have the amazing Soul Insidious here. He does a series called The Selling Series. He's super funny, absolutely hilarious, and we call him the Pumpkin King or Pumpkin
Pumpkin
Head.
King.
But please go check him out. And then does Sky stream?
No.
No? Okay. Well, go show these awesome streamers some love, and I would just like to say again, thank y'all so much for joining us for this. It was absolutely fun, and we'll definitely have to do this again, guys.
Absolutely.
Amen. Thank you guys.
The Raw Nation Paranormal team, unite.
Yes.
You're welcome to
Unite!
right here.
And please
Thanks for
stick
the
around
follow,
because
Sky.
we are going to raid somebody amazing. So stick around to show them the love. Give me a minute, Charlotte. Give me a minute. Let's see. Who are we gonna share the love with? Let's see. We are going to hand it off to Miss Crazy Cat here. She is at the moment streaming.
You guys streaming us.
Look,
Streaming this.
we'll see what she brings. We'll see what she brings up next because she tends to do some pretty long streams, guys.
Mhm.
My
No
longest
shortage.
stream was 73 days.
Look,
So
no shortage of stuff going on there. But yeah, show her
it's either
some love.
games, food, or sleep.
Let me get this wrote out. Give me a second. I
There's
can't
a little
type
something
and
for
think.
everyone. But I wouldn't necessarily call myself a family channel.
18 plus, guys. 18
plus.
plus. Okay.
You have been warned. I do
Okay.
require a parental signature if you are under the age of 18.
Why is it not showing me the option to raid out?
It's showing that we're rating.
Yeah, it shows that it's gonna raid, but it's not giving me the option at the top of the screen to hit raid.
Oh.
Ask Joey if he's got it on his.
Joey, do you got it on your thing?
I can't.
It'll just raid out on its own, he said.
I'm gonna say
All right,
anybody who
so
is
give me
watching,
just
if you
a
guys want
second.
to join and watch my stream, I'm about to warm up with some Rocket League before I get ready for Apex practice because I do have to practice Apex every day for LGS.
Hold on, Charlotte. So yes, we will be raiding out to Crazy Cat, and thank y'all so much for being here, and love all your faces. Goodbye. Hold on. All right. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to send over, but y'all, yeah, we are muted, so they can't hear you. Yes, it was lots of fun. But yeah, thank you guys for joining in. That was great. Appreciate all of y'all. Oh, Charlotte said, hi, Dante. Okay, it finally switched over to her, so I'm gonna go ahead and end.